Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sunday Night Racing here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we're at the Phoenix Raceway for the MPI Cup Series race number 4 of Season 5. Tonight, it's the MPI Cup Series. Remember, it just great race here at Phoenix. As you can see, the MPI Cup Series as tonight's race is the Cactus 200 here at the desert here in Phoenix. Going to be a fun race. I am Zach Hall, calling all the action here tonight. Alongside me is going to be Brian Johnson, and running our production up in the booth is going to be Robert Moyer Jr. First short track of the season here for season number 5. Brian, what are these drivers going to be fighting when we drop this green flag here tonight? Because, man, this track here, very tough in the desert.
Yeah, well, on top of it being, next gen car, first short track that we've gone to, short tracks are, a completely different challenge in themselves. But tonight, I think these guys are really going to be battling the track temperatures out there, track conditions. Right now, track temperature up to 117 degrees. That's a fairly hot track. Ambient temp is at 82 degrees, and of course, we're in the desert, so humidity only at 10%. The wind 7 miles per hour to the west. Not going to be a huge issue, but the big thing tonight with these guys is going to be keeping up with that track temperature. If they're able to have that information available to them with whatever tools they might have outside of iRacing. But with a hot track temperature like this, parts of the track where the car is tight is going to be tighter, and where it's going to be loose is going to be looser. That hot track temperature just makes those extremes that much more extreme. So these guys, I think it's definitely going to be a driver's track tonight, which is going to be great for us as we watch all the action from up here.
That it will be driver's track here tonight, like you say, Brian. Well, man, some drivers that notably down the standings in the points that are going to need a good bounce back here, probably starting in race number 4. They at least like to get it that way. One of those drivers, at least notable to me, that's Ross Harlow. He's back 40th in points, our defending champion from season 4. And then even Zach Wilson, one of the other Final 4 contenders, he's 33rd in points. And he's had a great start to his season with qualifying. He actually leads the league in average start with a 1.33. So Zach Wilson getting it done in qualifying, not getting the finishes that he wants just yet. But, man, I'll tell you what, Brian, Phoenix is, like you said, a driver's racetrack, and with it being this hot, I think you're going to see guys like Ross Harlow, like Zach Wilson, be trying to contend for a win here, possibly tonight, and even contend for that top 5, because right now, even on our practice times, they're sitting 2nd and 3rd on the board.
Yeah, definitely, especially from Ross Harlow. Just looking at the practice times from earlier this week, he was kind of towards the bottom of the board, but here tonight we see him with that 3rd fastest lap time. And I know I was watching him a little bit ago. He was practicing qualifying laps, so these top times are definitely mock qualifying runs from these guys. So if he can put that lap down in qualifying, he can find himself having some really good track position at the beginning of this race, which I think is going to be very important for a track here like Phoenix. Another notable right here, and I think it's just kind of circumstantial, was Austin Reedy was fastest earlier in the week as far as practice goes, and right now we see him kind of towards the middle of the board right there. I think just outside of the top 10 in practice times, but I don't think he has done a mock qualifying run. I think he's saving that, so we'll definitely have to be watching him, as he is kind of the top rookie of the field so far this season.
Yeah, he has been on a tear for sure to start off the season with those 2 back-to-back wins there, starting Daytona, then heading off the Auto Club. Last week at Las Vegas, he was in position once again, possibly to get a win, but it was Warren Kyle Keith who would storm to a victory from that 40th qualifying position. But a little bit of talking about the rookies. I mean, just a mixed bag it's been with them. We've seen them perform very well at Daytona, and we knew they'd have a big impact. And right now, I mean, Austin Reedy, of course, like you said, I mean, the start of his season has been fantastic. He leads the points. Joe Sanchez, he's going to be the 2nd best rookie at 4th in points, so he's coming in with the top 3 last week. He's definitely coming out of Las Vegas with some momentum in that 55 camp. Then Steven Stimping, he's had a lot of stage points, not the finishes to go his way, so he's 13th in points. Brian Curry's going to be back there in 23rd in points. Shane White's going to be 26th, actually tied with Charles Felt, another rookie. Lawson Pill 35th, and Spencer Higgs 42nd. So a mixed bag with our rookies, but definitely some contenders there that have shown up to this series that have put a few of these drivers on notice, that saying, hey, I'm at to get by these guys if I want to get a victory again this season. But another interesting thing to go along with this season here, season number 5. Season 4, we didn't race at Phoenix, Brian, so they don't really have much to go back off of. But we did have 5 short tracks that season, last season here at the MPI Cup Series, and of those 5 races, it was 3 different winners. You'd have 2 wins going to both Mario Morinda and Ross Harlow, our champion, and then you also have a victory going to Daniel Michel, who I believe has not been able to get here tonight in his race car, so we don't think he'll be partaking in tonight's race. But man, we're going to head off into qualifying now, Brian. 10 minutes for these drivers to put down their fastest times, and man, me and Sam have beat it like a dead horse. It's track position when it comes to qualifying all the time here on iRacing. But this short track is going to give a little bit more opportunity, I think, for these drivers to make passes here tonight with this Next Gen Cup Series car, especially with the different options it gives, Brian. I mean, we're going to be seeing all different types of styles from these drivers shown here on display. And right now in qualifying, this is where you're going to be pushing the limit of this race car.
Yeah, and part of that limit is finding, what gear to run. Here in this next gen car, we have 5 gears to work with, but just from watching these guys in practice, they're utilizing that 4th gear quite often. Excuse me. They're really only using 5th gear, especially when they're trying to put down a qualifying lap. Only using 5th gear coming out of the dog leg and into turn 1. Other than that, enter turn 1, right before the apex, they're shifting down into 4th gear, and they're running that 4th gear all the way down the back stretch, all the way into 3 and 4, up until they start the cross finish line. So I'd have to be curious as to how that's going to translate to into the race runs as we get to the those late race runs, like 20, 30 laps into a run. Are these guys going to be shifting, or are they going to keep it in 5th gear because of just how the tires are and how the car's handling at that point?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, one of the more interesting facts to follow this race is the shifting aspect. So, yeah, we'll have to stay on top of that all night as these drivers here still attempting laps right now. So far, the first time to be top of the board is Steven Stippian in the 81 machine with a 27.903. And this track has been cooling off, Brian. We came into this practice session when we started, and it was about 124 degrees was that track temp. We've had some cloud coverage come over this racetrack here in this past hour of practice. It's dropped this temperature down to about a 109-degree track temp, so it's definitely feeling a little bit more grippy. I would expect to see lap times even pick up. And right now, Harlow with the fastest time we've seen in the session all night, right now with a 27.71 to be on top of the board.
Yeah, the thing with the sun, it has cooled off the track right now, like you said, 109 degrees. But these guys, they're gonna have to stay on their toes if they see that sun come back out. They aren't gonna be able to send it into these corners like they have been.
They definitely won't be able to, and that track tip is going to be a big factor, I believe, all night long throughout the majority of this race. And we talked about track position being an important thing, but we got proved wrong by that kind of. Warren Kyle Keith in that 42 machine after his win at Las Vegas last week from coming to 40th position. I mean, what a job by him, but he's actually 7th on the board here this evening, so it's a good way to start his race off here for 200 laps at Phoenix is to start up into that top 10. So I think Warren Kalki's gladly going to take that as we ride on board with Zach Wilson here. Like I said, a notable driver. They're 33rd in points, one of the final 4 contenders. He's got to get his season back on track, and this is not the way to go. Is he's going to slam into the wall, and he's had a 1.33 qualifying average coming into this point of the season, but has nothing there, and he puts it in the wall, and that's going to definitely drop that average down as he may going to try to go get another attempt at it here before the time expires here. We've only been going for 4 minutes, so I mean there's still a good 6 minutes out there for these drivers to get times in, Brian, but that track temp continues to keep dropping. We could see the drivers that wait benefit from this.
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. I think as long as that sun stays behind the clouds, you're going to see these guys wait until the last second, the literal last second, when they cross that finish line to put their qualifying lap in, because every degree that this track drops, could give you 1/200ths. So, these guys, because like Ross Harlow, he has the pole right now. He did wait compared to guys like Steven Stimpian and Shane Wyatt. So, and you can see, I mean, over 2/10 faster he is. So these guys going to be waiting as long as possible.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Brian. Right now, those top two really got a big separation between them. We'll see if anybody can put anything close to that. And Zach Wilson, great recovery right there after that major mow it down into turn number one for him on that first qualifying attempt. He's going to put that 51 machine up into the fifth position, dropping Joe Sanchez down to six. But wow, what a job by Shane White, even there in the 71 machine. I mean, right there, just in that group, Shane White, Steven Stimpy, and Joe Sanchez from sixth, fourth, and third positions. Those are all rookies right there. So again, the rookies showing out once more here, and the one driver still I think a lot of us are waiting for to see is going to be Austin Reedy. He's been the points leader for majority or really for the whole season since he started off with that win at Daytona and the win at Auto Club to back it up, and then last week another great top five finish. And I mean, to go along with that top five finish, Brian, he's the only driver to have three top fives, but he's also the only driver to have three top tens through these first three races. So very consistent from that 96 machine. I mean, it's been a glorious start for him, and probably something he probably wouldn't have thought it happened. To just start off with a 1.67 average finish in three races, that's a great way to kick off a season.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's exactly what you hope for. You don't expect to get it, but you hope for it. And when you start off a season that strong and you're riding that momentum wave, it's gonna be tough to knock him off of it. But here tonight at Phoenix, with this being the first short track, tonight might be the night where somebody else can knock him off of that momentum wave. So he's got to make sure that he stays on top of it and get that good qualifying position and stay out of trouble. And as long as he keeps having those top five finishes, he's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, you could very be right about this. This could be the start of where we see Reedy have a little bit of weakness. We have not seen Austin Reedy be very much troubled this season to get to the front. I mean, Daytona, Auto Club, Las Vegas, all those pretty much very much speedway racetracks, and very much about keeping the momentum of your race car up. So those three tracks can relate. This track completely off the spectrum of those. So we'll have to see what he can do for a short track racer, but times continuing to be put in. Is this the 14 machine here now putting down a time, and we'll see exactly where Austin Shoemaker can go. Is that second lap not quicker, but that first lap a 27.77, second position there for Austin Shoemaker. What a time there from that 14 machine, and showed very good pace at the short tracks last season.
Yeah, great time from him. And as I'm looking at these cars, who's out here, Austin Reedy did just take off, so he's going to be going to put down his laps, see what he can get. Just based off of, again, the practice times earlier this week, I would expect him to qualify here in the top five.
Yeah, I always expect that too. I mean, last week he did have a small mistake at Las Vegas, mistimed his qualifying. Got it right this week. Won't be able to have to worry about that clock here. As we still got plenty of drivers left to do time. I mean, really about 13 still have yet to put in time, with only 25 times still being put in here through the first 8 minutes. We got less than 2 minutes to go here. We'll see Austin Reedy in the 96 hour points leader can put down for the first lap. But look at this. He elects to go high here. Going to take the cut down here off of the turn and get the run built up for that second lap. So he's feeling those tire pressures built up, a little bit more grip on that second lap, where most of the drivers, we've seen that first lap be the quicker one.
I gotta say though, Zach, I think he may have waited just a little bit too long. As soon as he pulled out to start taking these laps, that sun came back out. So hopefully that's not going to affect the track a whole lot here in these 2 laps for him, but that is something to take into consideration.
We'll see what he can do here. Nice and tight to the bottom there on the yellow line off the exit. Going up to the Cactus for the Cactus 200. It's going to be Austin Reedy putting himself up to fourth on the board. Great time there from our points leader, and showing again his prowess to be quick each and every week. As now we look back here, it's going to be, I believe this is the 19 of Joseph Mahar. Yeah, so we'll see what Joseph can put down here in this 19 machine as times keep clicking in. Mahar on that first one was a 28.008. That put him 13th on the board. Second time, not quicker, a 28.102. So going to stay 13th on the board there behind Alex Muscarella, the driver who led the most laps at Las Vegas last week. So we'll see. It looks like a little bit of a more mixed bag here, Brian, as short tracks have definitely thrown a little bit of a crinkle into the fold, as we got 30 seconds left here in qualifying.
Yep, I think if you have not put down a lap yet, you will not be putting down a lap. So this may be the starting grid as we see it right now. So Ross Harlow with that 27.718. I mean, that's fast time. That's fast lap. That's much faster than anything else we've seen all week, including tonight. So congrats to him.
Yeah, that is a very, very quick time for sure, and we'll have to see what he can do in the race. I mean, coming in here 40th in points, he's got to turn it around here, I believe. And so it's going to be one of those deals for him. But qualifying is officially over. Ross Harlow is the pole setter. We'll be bringing up our qualifying results here to show where your favorite drivers are starting tonight's race here for the Cactus 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway. There it is, our starting grid. And Ross Harlow, like I said, is taking that pole position for the 40th points position. He's going to need a big turnaround here tonight in that 5 machine. Second's going to go to Austin Shoemaker in the 14 machine. Third's going to be the 99 of Mario Mirinda. Fourth's going to be our points leader, Austin Reedy. Fifth place is going to go to the 81 of Steven Stippian. Sixth is going to be Shane White in that 71 machine. Seventh place is going to be the 51 of Zach Wilton. Eighth is going to go to Joe Sanchez. Ninth is going to be Brandon Branks. And rounding out the top 10 is last week's winner, Warren Kauke.
11th is going to be Parker Bland in the 01. Alex Muscarella going to take position 12 on the starting grid. Joseph Mahar in 13th. Ryan Kendall 14th. Chris Shoemaker in the 4 machine is going to start 15th. Justin Irby there 16th. Wyatt Brackett 17th. James Kunkel in 18th. Richard Swavely in 19th. And Kip Easley going to round out our top 20 here tonight as we send them off a pit road, get these warm-up laps in, and take the green flag.
That we are. Ryan's 21st is going to be Sean Callis. 22nd going to go to Dakota Curtis in the 1 machine. 23rd is going to be Justin Winters. 24th going to go to Justin Hendry. 25th is going to be Judd Danielson. 26th is Dylan Hastings. 27th, Isaac Mock. 28th is going to go to Brad Fulham. 29th is going to be Eric Stanford. And rounding out the top 30 is going to be Lawson Pill in the 53 machine.
Garrett Brown 31st, Shane Parrish in 32nd, Dustin Reeves 33rd, Bill Schoonover in 34th, Daniel Goldcroft 35th, Travis Stevens 36th, Charles Feltz in 37th, and Chris Progar going to round out the field in 38th position.
Is your starting grid here tonight for the Cactus 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway for the MPI Cup Series, race number 4. And we're going to see how it all kicks off here for 200 laps here tonight in Phoenix. And it's hot underneath the sun in the desert. We're looking for the green flag. Green flag is in the air. We're off and away as Ross Harlow is going to have a great start. But Mario Mirinda all over the back bumper. He'll immediately take second as Austin Reed goes to the outside of Shoemaker down into 1.
Yeah, Phoenix never fails to disappoint on these restarts. We saw them fan out very quickly as Ross Harlow just still fighting off the Mario Mirinda there in the 99. They're going to be side by side as they come out of turn 4.
Side by side for the lead as the first lap is through and into the books. Mirinda will almost lead it. He takes the nose down into 3 and 4, or 1 and 2, sorry there, and he'll take the lead from the 5 of Ross Harlow. What a job by Mirinda here, but Harlow going to try to get the run off of turn 2 here to set him up for the back straightaway, heading down to turn 3 and 4 before we hit that start-finish line. It's going to be side by side now. Shoemaker looking to the inside of Reedy, but Reedy going to make the pass for that 3rd position.
Yep, everybody trying to figure out where they're going to be running here as we head into the later stages of this first run. But Harlow looking to the outside of the 99 Mario Mirinda there, but couldn't quite get the run out of 2 that he needed to try to make something with that look. He does have momentum going into turn 3, but is going to elect to stay behind him there. Just going to fall in line, and everybody's going to be trying to figure out how to drive this thing from now on.
Yeah, this is early in the race. Definitely don't want to take too many risks here. As remember, no fast repairs here at the MPI Cup Series. It's you wreck it, you're out of this thing. Is also 5 sets of tires here tonight for these race car, or 6 sets of tires. They're 5 in pit road, and also you got to be thinking about those stages, lap 45 and lap 90 for the stage breaks for tonight's race. And should have no problems with fuel, but man, Ross Harlow, he's having major problems. Our pole setter, he's dropped back now, getting the position fought by Austin Shoemaker for this 3rd spot, as he may be looking to drop back to 4th.
Yeah, trying to look back and see what's going on, but he may just be running a slower pace here. potentially saving tires. Watching these guys in practice, they did look pretty loose in and loose off. So maybe he's being kind of considerate with the the right rear tire there, just trying to keep it under him. And when you do that, you're hoping that you go green here, which for so far it looks like that we will get some green flag laps in here. So these guys don't look too racy right now, as it is early in the race still.
Yeah, early in the race, everybody not trying to take too many chances, but Steven Stippian going to make the pass there on Shane White in the 71 machine to move himself up to that 5th position there. This is where he started, but lost that spot early on that restart. And right now, very much a single file line through much of the field is really, it's going to go all the way back. Actually, all cars single file at the moment is everybody trying to find their feet in here at Phoenix.
Yeah, and while they are single file, they are still, bumper to bumper to bumper. These guys not too far away from each other, as we see the 51 of Zach Wilson dive underneath Shane Wyatt there coming out of 4, and he is going to make that pass. Behind him there, the 55 of Joe Sanchez looking to take an opportunity from that. He's going to look to the inside, heading into turn 1. Has half a car length on the 71 of Shane there, and he is going to complete the pass. But is Shane going to do that crossover? Shane on the inside as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, you can see it from the back bumper cam here, and Sanchez going to hold off as Shane White again dropping back another spot. That's going back to 8th there from that 6th starting spot. So Shane White, one of the rookies, trying to hold on to the spot, but he's giving up one to Joe Sanchez as Zach Wilson there looks to be moving forward as we ride on board with him here down in 1 and 2. Up ahead of him is Steven Stippian, Austin Shoemaker, Ross Harlow, Austin Reedy, and Mario Morinda as our first 9 laps are in the books, as Mario Morinda is going to cross the line here coming out of turn 4.
Yep, lap 10 we are on now. So at this point, you kind of know what the car is going to do for the rest of the run, especially if you've run a lot of practice laps. So right now you can kind of make your decision of, are you going to ride around and wait till the later stage of this run here, or are you going to start pushing and try to make some passes happen, especially if, you're breathing down the neck of the guy in front of you. How much do you want to push the issue right now? And as we see, a lot of guys just kind of riding around right now.
Yeah, everybody definitely picking and choosing their moments, and, for Morinda out front in that 99 machine, it's got to be a good sight for him to get some laps led early in the season. Only had 44 coming in through the first 2 races, and after putting down a dominant performance last season, not getting the championship, but a dominant performance when it comes to the stat books wise, he's going to be looking to add more to that total. And looking at his season last season, he performed very well at the short tracks and at the road courses. And tonight here at Phoenix, that first true test, and what do you know, Morinda right up here in the mix again, trying to get that first victory of the season.
Yeah, gotta say though, the last 2 laps, Austin Reedy been just a little bit faster than Mario Morinda. So I have to see here, how many laps is it going to take before he tries to make a move?
That we'll have to see as they cross the line. Harlow, he's also trying to go forward behind him, but Steven Stippian in the 81 machine, he's going to have the 51 of Zach Wilson battling for position there in the 5th spot down in 1 and 2 is 81 trying to hold station, with the 51 of Zach Wilson trying to go forward there as you see him racing off of turn number 2.
And we've watching these guys now, 13 laps into this run. Seems like in turns 1 and 2, you really want that late apex. These guys aren't really running the bottom a whole lot in 1 and 2. They're really kind of staying to that 2nd, 3rd, possibly 4th lane, getting that late apex, making sure they have a good exit. And, with these cars now that you do have to lift and wait on that throttle quite often for a long time, that late apex line is a really good line to run, as we see Austin Reedy trying to make a move to get the lead.
Yeah, Austin Reedy there trying to make something happen on the bottom lane, and like you said, the bottom has not been the preferred groove. Everybody's been moving up a line there as Reedy takes it all the way down to almost pit road, and he's going to hold the inside line here down in the 1 and 2. Morinda, though, going to have the preferred groove up top, and that groove has come into life really since they've updated this racetrack. And with the whole reconfiguration of where the start-finish line We brought this new racetrack into iRacing as a scan not too long ago. And man, I'll tell you what, it's really opened up multiple lanes, and you really can work that top groove that you see be available to drivers here when they race in the real Cup cars.
Yeah, and when you have a car kind of like this one where it's it's not as momentum based as the old Cup car was, or like we see with the trucks, but this car does like momentum, nice smooth a smooth line, smooth on and off the gas, and so that outside line, that's where you're gonna find that this car is probably most happiest.
Yeah, it really does seem like a little bit more stable up there. Is now you continue to see Steven Stiffy back there running a little bit off groove as he's got Zach Wilson once again in that 51 trying to take that position. But Steven Stippian says, I don't know about giving up a position. I want to take a position from Austin Shoemaker up ahead, but can't get the run there as he needs as they head down into turn 3 and 4 as Sanchez behind him trying to close in the gap. He had a top 3 last week. Joe Sanchez starting the season off strong, 4th in points for a rookie, and showing again he's got a lot of consistency in that 55.
Zach Wilson on the outside of Steven Stimpian right there, trying to find out what these guys are doing as far as shifting goes. And Zach Wilson, yeah, he is in 4th gear right now, so these guys still kind of using that same philosophy that they were in qualifying, where they're in 4th gear for most of the lap.
And that is such an interesting factor to this whole aspect of this car. I mean, it gives these drivers the abilities to do something like that. As we're watching back here around the 11th position, it's the 54 of Brandon Banks, and Brandon Banks, dude, bring him up. He was the biggest mover last week from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway when it came to points. I believe he moved up 14 positions in the points, so a really tall climb for him last week after a great finish, and now trying to have another good run here in that 11th spot there, directly behind the guy who led the most laps in the race last week in Las Vegas, Alex Muscarella. So we'll see what Muscarella has for these short tracks too. Is definitely throwing a curveball for a few guys that we've seen run up front and be contenders early in the season.
Yeah, just running through the field. Some of these guys they're catching guys now that they were running behind before. As we see, Steven Stimpian's back to 7th place now. Austin Reedy still trying to figure out how to get around Mario Mirinda, but nothing too crazy as of right now.
Definitely a little bit easy on the racing for sure. As we're looking at back here at the one machine of Dakota Curtis here. He's battling with Chris Progar. This is for the 28th and 29th positions here. This Progar is going to look to make a move up on Brad Fulham up ahead. Dakota Curtis maybe going to look to follow him through, but Dakota Curtis started 22nd, has fell back to 29th. Not sure if he got caught up in something that has pushed him back here, but Dakota Curtis trying to work his way back into some better track position here for that Podium Esports team.
Yeah, maybe just had a bad restart there, and he's now back here. But Chris Progar started 38th and up to 27th. So while it may be only 27th right now, but that's still 11 positions that he's gained in 22 laps. So that's a good job by him. As these guys looking pretty racy back here, as all these guys stuck behind the 7 of Isaac Knock.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we talked about Progar there. Whoa, he went up the racetrack and into Fulham into the outside wall. They keep it straight though due to that wall, and that's going to drop them both back. And Progar, after a sneaky top 5 last week, is now in trouble here as him and Fulham have gone into the wall here on lap number 24. And another car shooting straight up the racetrack. That's Judd Danielson in the 85. He slapped the wall, and I tell you what, these cars have got evil on them very quickly as we've seen a few drivers have some handling things that we haven't seen before where the cars just went straight.
Yeah, well, I think some of what might have to do with that, Zach, is the track temperature. I just happened to look at it up to 113, so we started the race at 109. So this track temp is probably causing some of these guys a little bit of havoc, and this car is now handling quite differently than it was in the first 10 laps of the race.
Yeah, it's looking like it's definitely causing some issues for a few guys, but here's the 3 of James Kunkel back here for 25th. He's got Dakota Curtis all over the back deck leg, putting pressures. Now he looks to the inside here, coming off a turn number 4 or turn number 2. You're going to see a good side by side battle and head down here to 3. We'll see, does that inside prevail here? I believe it will, and yes, it does. As Coco back one more spot, Dakota Curtis back up to the 25th position as he tries to climb his way back forward. As this group here continues on the battle. Shane Parrish is in this group, Justin Irby in the 24, as they all try to get by the 3.
Yeah, Justin Irby there. He's going to make the pass. And like you said, Shane Parrish looking. And I got to say, you cannot miss that car. That is a car you will not be able to miss as he makes the pass on the 3 car. And 31 as well, Daniel Holdcroft looking to make a pass as well. So I got to wonder, has the 3 roasted his tires or what's going on with him?
Yeah, what I'm seeing, Brian, is it looks like he has got some major right front damage on that race car. So the 3 of James Kunkel struggling there as Daniel Holcraft goes by. Next on that list, they'll be the 2 of Travis Stevens trying to get by. But man, Kunkel hard into the wall here early in this race, and he's going to have some damage that's going to be pushing him almost outside the top 30 here. As Lawson Pill's not too far behind to push him back to 31st.
Yeah, and as we've been watching these guys back here towards the middle to the back of the pack, Mario Marinta has extended his lead to just over a second, so he's starting to stretch his legs a little bit as he's getting smaller and smaller in Austin Reedy's windshield.
I mean, we've seen Austin Reedy be the driver to do this season, pull away from the field and be that, have that quick pace to be able to do it. But Marinda here showing at Phoenix, he has got what it takes. And early in the going, the 99 just looking lights out for the first 29 laps. But the group behind this is where the battle is at. Zach Wilson trying to go forward. Zach Wilson's up from 7th all the way to 3rd as he makes the pass on Harlow there. As now the 55 is Sanchez along with the 81 Steve Stippian. They're trying to make a move, but Harlow cuts across. Sanchez makes contact. Sanchez goes down to the inside wall. And oh man, just a weird move there from Harlow to cut across the 55 who's trying to keep it straight there.
Yeah, I think what happened there, Ross Harlow just barely got into the outside wall coming out of turn 4, and when he hit that wall, he bounced back out just a little bit and made contact with the 55, and that pushed the 55 into the inside wall, and unfortunately for them, that's not going to bring out a caution.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Brian. He did just get into the wall just a little bit, and yeah, Joe Sanchez, wrong place, wrong time for him there. As we look back here at the 32 of Richard Swavely, he's working his way up and through the field. He said he had a bad qualifying spot. He said it out in our chat. He said, watch out for that 32 machine. We had a bad qualifying, but he's going to be working his way up. He's done that 19th up to the 14th position. Next on the list is going to be Shane Wyatt, who, one of our rookies there in the 71, he's starting to struggle a little bit here, Brian. He's dropped back from 6th all the way back to 13th now as Swavely is really putting the pressure on.
Yeah, he is just kind of looking at the lap time, seeing when if anything happened to Shane here, if it's just one of those growing pains with this next gen car. And yeah, just nothing too major happened to him. No major slides or anything, because that's one thing you do have to consider with, especially at a hotter track temp like we are, still at 113. But if you go for a 4-wheel slide on these tires, that set of tires is not going to be the same as it was before. That grip you had is going to be gone. So that's just another thing as a driver you have to be careful about.
No, and I think a good display of what you're talking about, Brian, is it's got to be the 5 machine for Ross Harlow. He got in the wall. They had that big slide in contact between him and Joe Sanchez, and I think it really hurt the tires. Also, that damage really hurt that 5 machine. He's dropped all the way back here to the 6th position, and it's been a tough time for these drivers. So, man, right now some definite crazy action going on. Is Shane Wyatt there trying to hold that position for Richard Swavely, but just under attack constantly from that driver.
And while we were talking about that, Zach Wilson did look to the inside of Austin Reedy there, and he's still going to look to the inside of him coming out of turn 4 here as they cross the start-finish line. Both elect not to cut the dog leg there. But, Austin Reedy, I think he's going to have to figure something out here if he wants to try to be a contender in this race, because right now he's looking to be about maybe 3rd or 4th quickest on the track right now.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's been a tough go for a few drivers out there. The driver that's not had the tough go, it's Mario Mirinda, now opened that lead up to 2 seconds. And the driver that's going to be under the most pressure, though, it's for second place. It's that 96 machine, Austin Reedy. Zach Wilson now, he's really closed it up. But look at this. Also, you can't look too far. 81 is Steven Stippian. His long run pace starting to click in also as it's getting down to where the tires are where Reedy makes a big slide. Here comes the move from Wilson as we look back. It's going to be side by side between the two up here for position.
And while these two guys are racing, that's going to allow Steven Stippian to pull up right to their bumper. In the past couple laps, Steven Stippian has been a 10th quicker than both of these guys. So I'd be looking to see Steven look underneath Austin Reedy as he is. Let's see what kind of run he can get out of 2. As these guys, late in the run, now lap 37, they're having to wait forever to get back onto the gas.
Oh, they definitely are. It's a lot of off throttle time, a lot of tire wear starting to kick in. And remember, that first stage, lap 45. So if you're going to get track position, you better get it now because here comes Steven Stippian. Austin Reedy, he's shown this season to have a lot of strength in that 96 machine, but showing right here, this long run is not doing well for that 96. And look, not too far behind these two, it's the 42 of Warren Kyle Keith. He should be coming into our picture here off the corner. Yes, he does. Look, he may be taking advantage here. Stippian has a little bit of off throttle time there, having to lift for that 96. He's going to try to get up into there, but Warren Kyle Keith, winner from Las Vegas, started 40th last week. He's a lot farther up this week, trying to get some good stage points. There's 2 wide ahead of him. He's going to cut the dog leg.
Yeah, Warren Kyle Keith trying to take advantage of this, trying to make it 2 in a row as right in front of these guys, the 3 car hits the wall. So these guys going to have to be careful. Can Steven use the 3 as a pick? It seems like he can. He's going to clear Austin Reedy and sail it off into 3.
Great job by Steven Stippian. Worked him over and got the job done. But I tell you one thing, Brian, that number 51 machine, he is starting to close the gap down. He's a 10th or 2 quicker than Mirinda each and every lap. He started from that 7th spot. Wilson here, he won't get there before the end of the stage. But I tell you one thing, he'll be one to watch for us. Now we're watching this battle. Reedy trying to hold on to this 4th position, but Warren Kyle Keith, last week's winner, trying to go up the 4th.
Yeah, and one thing about Zach Wilson having this speed late in the run, like you said, Zach, not going to get first place this stage and possibly not even next stage, but you do have to consider at the beginning of this run started 2nd, beginning of 7th, beginning of next run he's going to start 2nd. So some of his pace early in the middle of the run lost due to trying to get around guys.
Very, very possible. As you see there, the 81 there making the pass on the lap car of Judd Danielson to go by as we're going to be coming by here right now this time. 3 laps to go here in this stage as we're going to be a stage caution at the start of lap 45 as Mirinda coming up on some more lap traffic. It's been an almost perfect stage from this 99 machine. Can he just hold on for 3 more laps as they'll be coming to the 2 to go here for the stage?
Yeah, been, pretty smooth sailing for him. Not many mistakes. Lap cars have been nice to him. So, he's just got to keep up the good work, and he'll be sitting pretty as we head to the, the final stage if he can keep this up in stage number 2.
And pit roads closes this time here. We're going to be looking for 1 more lap here as Mirinda comes down through 3 and 4. It's going to be 1 more lap here in stage number 1 here for the Cactus 200 at the Phoenix Raceway. As Mirinda crosses the line, he's opened up the gap to 2.5 seconds now in the last few laps. Has really been stretching those legs as he heads down the 1 and 2. He is going to be looking to collect 10 bonus points here for winning that stage. Wilson looks in control of 2nd. Stippian looks in control of 3rd. Warren Kyle Keith back to the 4th position, and Austin Reedy back to 5th. About 5 seconds separating that group as now Mirinda rounds out of 3 and 4. That's going to be stage win for the 99 machine here at the Phoenix Raceway.
Yep, good job by him, sitting 7th in the point standings right now, so that's going to be good for him points-wise. As we get that caution out, and we're going to head to pit road here in a couple laps.
Yeah, these guys are going to definitely be looking to get some tires and some fuel, but great job by the 99 of Morinda. What a stage there for him. Led almost every single lap after he got the lead in the opening few laps. Did not let it go, but he's going to have some tough contenders behind him, as we had Zach Wilson and Steven Stippy worked their way up to second and third. But rounding out our top 10 here for stage number 1 is Warren Kyle Keith in fourth, Austin Reedy's fifth. Ross Harlow is going to bring it home in the sixth position. Austin Shoemaker seventh. Alex Muscarell there in eighth. Ninth is going to go to Brandon Banks, and rounding out that stage for top 10 stage points is Joseph Mahar. As they all come down here to pit road to get service done, we're going to go to our first commercial break of the night here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you all for tuning in here and watching so far. We'll be back in a few.
There is Max Papis in the Ferrari. As great a race as Ferrari has ever won.
The steering wheel for me has always been a sensitive spot. There's a whole experience there that we're all trying to refine. Max Pappas, he asked me one day, he said, what can I do in a wheel? I said, well, with the new
is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
This is sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like lifting, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
And we are back here for the MPI Cup Series on Sunday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Cactus 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway. I'm Zach Hall. Joined alongside me calling all the action is my partner Brian Johnson and our producer Robert Moore Jr. running all the cameras and all the shots here for all you fans at home. But Brian, we've seen an interesting first stage. Mario Morinda, I mean, just a dominant performance for him. But he's got some new contenders to deal with. He had Austin Reedy there, directly behind Ross Harlow, who he took the lead from after Harlow started on pole. Now going to have Zach Wilson and Steven Stippian drove up to the second and third spots. We'll see what they can do with a little bit better track position. But Morinda, so far, lights out.
Yeah, he's been very solid, but like you said, Zach, he hasn't had Zach Wilson behind him, started 7th, now in 2nd. You got Warren Kyle Keith, started 10th, now 5th. You know, some other big movers as well. You got Dylan Hastings, started 26th up to 16th. So, you know, a lot of these guys looking to keep that momentum forward that they've, you know, they've been having. But Mario Morinda may have to be looking into his rearview mirror a little bit more than he was last run.
Very, very possible here as we go down the long restart zone here of the back straightaway of the Phoenix Raceway as they head down to the restart zone down here in turn 3 and 4. One of the only corners that have the restart zone in the corner. Morinda off and away as we get the green flag here for stage number 2 of the Cactus 200 as they head down the dogleg and they spread out and fan out looking for any bit of track they can find.
Yeah, fan out as you got him 3 wide, 42, 81, 96. Steven Simpian there in the 81 didn't have the best restart there, but recovering nicely as he's got Austin Reedy on his outside as they're 2 back 2 going into 3.
Great shot there for us to see everybody fanning out. Steven Stippian, the driver, losing out though. He started from that third spot. He's dropping all the way back, it looks like, to the sixth position. They fight through the dog leg. Everybody looking for space here as they head through. Mahar, 19, into the wall, I believe, as he tries to keep it up and out of the way of the racing group. He stays in the wall as everybody comes by at speed.
Yeah, 19 in the wall. Looks like there may have been a little bit of contact between him and the four coming out of the dog leg, as both of those cars did get loose, and unfortunately 19 gets into the wall. As we stay green here. Mario Mirinda just stretching his legs right now, opening up to almost a 0.3 of a second lead over Zach Wilson.
Great start for stage 2 so far. Mahar, though, not the way he wanted to go, as the racing is getting a little bit more intense for these drivers as he tries to hold that 24th position there with Justin Irby inside of the bottom lane there, trying to work his way forward with Brad Fulham there in that 45 directly behind him too. But man, with this group back here side by side, the front group's all single filed out. This group here, really the hardest group of battling going on right now in our field.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, you got Steven Simpian now. He's having to work on Ross Harlow there in fifth, battling for the 6th position there. As Steven, I think, he found some speed with long run pace, but he's got to work on that short run pace a little bit, work on those restarts, because all that track position that he did gain last run, now he's just losing again.
And you can see it there on the camera. It was 3 wide there for a moment, heading down into turn 3. And man, it is wild action here in stage number 2 as these drivers look for any bit of grip out here on the racetrack, as Mahar continues to try to hold station there with Justin Irby with the battle behind him. Fulham trying to go forward in that 45. It looks like he got stuck on that bottom groove and was just not able to go forward, as he got stuck down at the bottom of 3 wide. As Dustin Reeves involved, Shane Wyatt there in the 71 now trying to move his way to the outside of Irby here, heading down the 1 and 2.
As these guys back here, they're trying to get single file, but they're still bumper to bumper to bumper. If anybody makes a little bit of a mistake, they're going to be right on top of each other again. Just with how this field is working out, is just ahead of Mahar here. 53 trying to look to the inside of the 9 there. Can't quite get anything done, as he's going to be under attack now from Shane Wyatt. Shane Wyatt looking to the inside. Can he clear him coming out of turn 2? Looks like he will. He's got that great run coming off the bottom. Not something that we've seen usually so far tonight, but I think part of that is that the 19 is probably hurt pretty bad. That right front damage looking pretty bad.
Yeah, that right front damage, I think, is starting to affect that car pretty good, as he dropped back from the top 20s now, falling outside the top 30 is that 19 machine, as Irby continues to try to go by. Here comes Fulham now. We're also got the 6 of Dustin Reeves coming up into the picture also with this group. So a lot of drivers trying to find space. Charles Phelps in the 75, even another rookie back here in 34. So back here from 30th on back, it's a wild group here racing, and they're trying to get any bit of track position and just get points. It's tough when you're this far back track position wise, Brian, and you got to fight your way back up. As we hop up to Brandon Banks here in this 54 machine. He's got that 32 hot on his heels, who just made a pass on the 4 Chris Shoemaker. That's Richard Swavely there, as he has moved his way up to the 11th spot there. And that 32 machine is trying to now break into the top 10 for the first time.
Yes, Waverly, started 19th, like you said, trying to get up into 10th. And, I've raced Richard there before, and, he's improved a lot over the past 3 or 4 years. So it's good to see him racing where he is right now, battling that 4 of Chris Shoemaker right there. But, good to see the pace that he's got here tonight.
Yeah, it really is good to see that pace there from him, as he's been able to work his way through. He said it in the chat out there to us earlier. Not a good qualifying spot, but he's going to work his way up, and he's slowly and methodically done that. There's Banks in front of him there trying to work over Austin Shoemaker in the 14 machine, who was our second place qualifier, and not too far ahead of him. It's also Steven Stippian, who drove up to that 3rd spot during that long run. He's fell back to 8th. So Stippian, they're losing another spot to White Brackett, who's up from 17th to 7th. and that 10 machine. So this group here, seeing some new names up there, even Warren Kyle Keith now up into the top 3, and Zach Wilson also, we talked about Miranda pulling away the first time. Well, Zach Wilson, he has not let that happen in the 51. He has kept Miranda on his P's and Q's. It's about a 0.2 of a second gap.
Yeah, but the good thing for Mario Miranda is that, since he got that lead early in the race, he's been able to establish a groove up there up front. Even if he does have that guy 0.2 of a second behind him, he's still in this groove. He's not worried about him just yet. Probably up until he, looks to the inside or outside. So Miranda's, he didn't make a mistake in the first stage, so no reason why he should make a mistake in the second stage, even though he's being pressured right now. But he's just got to keep doing what he's doing, and he'll be fine.
I'd say what another name that's broken their way up into the top 5. That's the 48 Alex Muscarella. Led the most laps at Las Vegas last week. Now broken his way up into the top 5. After starting back in 12th, this 48 machine showing again. He can get it done week in and week out. It took Auto Club to get a podium finish. It took him to have fuel mileage. He led the most laps last week, but did not get the finish he wanted. Had a little bit of a contact with another driver that shoved him to the back and couldn't work his way up in time with the amount of time he had left, but definitely showed a lot of pace and a lot of promise going into a lot of mile and a half this season. As Muscarella there showing again consistency in the 48, he'll be a contender throughout this whole season.
Yeah, speaking of consistency, it seems like one of the things consistent throughout these guys that are running towards the the front of the field here is what they're still doing with shifting. They're in 4th gear and they only shift into 5th until after the dog leg, and I say consistent throughout the whole field in the front of these guys, except for Muscarella. Muscarella is just staying in 5th gear all the way around. So interesting that he can have similar pace with these guys up here, but be doing something different.
That is actually very, very interesting to my point too, Brian. I mean, I talked to a few drivers here before this race and was questioning what was going to be the shifting technique. And actually, I got word that a lot of people thought that shifting wouldn't be the way to go, but others were alluding to shifting. And I think more people have went to that shifting side to say, hey, 4th gear is really helping this race car turn and get slowed down, while some drivers are just using 5th there to power off the corners and try to keep that momentum up. So we'll see what is the winning strategy when it comes all the way down to the end. But man, so far from what I've seen, that shifting is really propelled those front 2 out to him.
Yeah, well, one thing I did notice in practice, I was watching Ross Harlow a lot because he was, he was putting down his qualifying laps, but before he was doing that, he was doing some long practice runs, and he was experimenting with it a little bit, and when he would stay in 5th gear in the middle of the corners, that car, you could just tell it was plowing real bad. But anytime he shifted down into 4th gear, if he wanted to stay right on that yellow line, he was able to. So I think these guys using 4th gear, they're able to get a little bit more rotation out of that car, and of course on exit you're able to kind of roar out of the corner a little bit better in 4th gear.
Well, we got to give iRacing credit again once again here at Freaky Fast for producing such a real product again. I mean, today we've seen it, multiple drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series shifting in both corners, I must say. So it was definitely something that was prevalent with that car in the Cup race today. Now we're seeing it here at the MPI Cup Series. These drivers utilizing that same bit of sequential shifting that this new Cup Series car has. It gives you that option to be able to quickly get from 4th to 5th and back and forth. I mean, before we seen shifting. This it wasn't the first time we've ever seen shifting at a racetrack, but it becomes so much easier with that sequential gearbox, Brian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When all you got to do is just bump it forward or bump it back, that makes that option that much easier and that much more available. You have to wonder, maybe not so much on the iRacing side of things, but on the real life side of things, if we were still having that H pattern gearbox, say we still had fifth gears, but if it was an H pattern, would those guys been shifting, or would it have been too difficult for them to try it? So yeah, that addition of the sequential shifter, as we see Mario Miranda trying to lap the 3 car again here. You got to wonder if all of the tracks throughout the whole season, what kind of opportunities does that sequential shifter give everybody?
I think it's gonna be interesting, not only at the road courses, just to have a much easier gearbox, but I think tracks like Pocono, tracks that maybe there's going to be different availabilities. Even Martinsville, short tracks. I mean, do we run a fourth gear at a track like that? I mean, that's going to be a big question. It's going to come down a lot of times to the gear ratio in these fixed setups that are provided to these drivers. So that's going to be a big thing. Is Austin Reedy, our pointer? He goes around out of nowhere there, and we catch that on the front straightaway. Big moment for our points here there, and that is not what he wants to see here for his fourth race of the season.
Yeah, just a small mistake out of him, it looks like.
Very, very simple, I believe. And he's still there waiting as there comes Judd Danielson. He's going to finally get that thing going. And got to give Reedy credit. A lot of drivers may have thrown that thing in reverse trying to get it going quicker. He was nice and patient, gave up the track position. And it's going to be worth it in the end because he caught no more damage than just getting into that outside wall. And that's what really caused that. So first caution of the night due to an incident. Second caution of the night overall. And it comes out here on lap 73 as that second stage there at lap 90. And Austin Reedy there just going around right in front of our eyes. And yeah, all it took was a slight touch to that wall. And that's something we see with Ross Harlow. He touched that wall, got down into Joe Sanchez. And Sanchez was kind of there to save Harlow from maybe that same fate we've seen Austin Reedy just have.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about that whole deal. It's Austin Reedy. We know Austin Reedy is good, but just made a small mistake, got into the outside wall, and that bounced the car back to the left. And he was trying to save it and just overcorrected a little bit to the right, and then back to the left and hit the inside wall. And it kind of alludes to something we saw earlier today. Zach, you probably aren't going to like that I bring this up, but we saw Chase Elliott kind of spin out all by himself earlier today in the Cup Series. And so that's the cool thing about this next gen car, is that guys that are really, really, really good can just make these small mistakes and ruin a really good run.
Yeah, you got to be on top of this car. I feel like this car, especially, I don't know if it comes down more to the sidewall of the tire, the aerodynamics with the floor and the diffuser, or does it come down to even the steering box? A whole new rack and pinion steering where, I'm sure every iRacer out there says, man, the next gen car, well, why do I have to have so much force feedback, and why is the steering wheel so light and quick? And I think that really comes down to the rack and pinion steering that we now have with these Cup Series cars that we're seeing. So, is that a factor of saving these race cars? Is is it harder with the steering wheel actually to, quickly react? Is those reactions being too much? It's finding that line, and I think we're going to see as the season goes on, even here in the MPI Cup Series and even the NASCAR Cup Series, that drivers are going to find that little bit of comfort and that limit of, oh, that's the cue that I need to know before I start to get loose and I know I'm going to wreck. So it's definitely a little bit of different communication, but I think that communication will slowly improve for these drivers, and it'll get a lot better. But this right here, Brian, is kind of shook things up, this caution. I'm kind of surprised. Our top drivers came down to pit road with Wyatt Brackett staying out there to lead this thing. Right now, first driver off of pit road, that's going to be Zach Wilson back in 19th position. I mean, 18 drivers staying out here. Ooh, this could be a tough call for a few of these guys, especially with pit stops. With a stage caution moving around 90, I'm wondering, are they going to try to stay out there possibly at that caution?
Yeah, I don't think they expected this many people to stay out. You had to think that some people were going to stay out, but not half the field. So, at this point, with 18 cars staying out here on this caution, I really like the call to stay out, because these guys up front, I don't think they're going to get run down by the guys on new tires.
And pace car is in this time, so we're going to go back green. Wyatt Brackett going to be our leader here in the 10 machine. Got the long roll up to base speed. But yeah, I mean, even looking at the lap times, we were about a second and a half already falling off. So we could see those new tires come into fruition, but these old tires here going through a little bit of cooldown phase, they should fire off pretty nicely here as we head down into the Geico restart zone, and they're going to head off green flag in the air, and Wyatt Brackett with a great start there for him as he's going to pull majorly ahead. That's going to let also Austin Shoemaker make the move on Brandon Banks there for the second spot.
Yeah, Brandon Banks there trying to hold off Eric Stanford for third. Eric Stanford going to look right to his inside as they head into turn 3. He might be able to clear him, as no, the 54 really sends it on in there, still side by side as the 4 is looming there back behind him.
Chris Shoemaker trying to make his way up front, 15th to 5th for that Ford machine. First driver, though, across the line on the brand new sets of tires, it's Zach Wilson, and it's a group and a gaggle back there around the 51 machine as there's cars in the wall, bouncing into that wall. And I think that may have been Travis Stevens in the 2. Yes, he does. He got used up a little bit there as they headed off into 1 and 2. Man, it is stacking up with these new tires. Zach Wilson, Mario Marin is leading the charge, though.
Yeah, just a case of too many cars and not enough space. And you know, Travis there just kind of the innocent bystander as everything got stacked up as, got real close there between the 51 and 53. But Zach Wilson trying to make his way through to the front of this pack as he's still ahead of Mario Miranda there, first car on fresh tires.
Yeah, and actually a little bit of contact actually between Lawson Pill and Zach Wilson. So yeah, Wilson into the corner hot and got into Lawson Pill there, put him up into the wall, and that let Miranda get multiple spots ahead of Wilson now as Miranda continues his charge, trying to go back up there and win this stage and win stage number 2 like he did in stage 1. That would be a heck of a way to start off race number 4 for him. But going to the inside now here down the front straightaway, it's going to be Mario Miranda trying to take another position here. Looks like he'll get it done heading down here into the corners. He's got Shane Pearson 89 a bit.
Yeah, he's got 9 laps rather, to try to get to the front. It's gonna be really, really close, especially if he if he gets into people like he did just there coming out of 2. Got into Shane Parrish there just a little bit, but it's based off of this pace right here. You're looking at maybe, 1 car a lap. It's going to be close.
He's got by Shane Parrish there now, who definitely had a little bit of contact. But again, this next car having a great strength is Zach Wilson in the 51. Big mistake as he slides back up in front of the field. It's a major wreck here down into 3 and 4. Or 1 and 2, and they're going to be parked on the corner. There's Joe Sanchez there in the 55. Major damage as Zach Wilson tows that car immediately back to pit road. We just had a major incident here to bring out our third caution of the night here right before the stage break.
Yeah, I think that all started when he got a little bit loose coming out of the dogleg there, and gonna look and see, was he in 4th or 5th gear right there? He had just shifted into 5th gear, and that's when that car got a little upset.
And you can just see here on the Freaky Fast replay, just all of a sudden breaks loose, like you said, shifted up to that 5th gear. Now just trying, he's heading towards the inside wall. You see, locks the left front tire, sliding, trying to stay away from the inside wall. When he turns it back right, that's going to cause the hooking feature here, and that's going to be pretty much from here, just nowhere to go for a lot of these guys. You're going to see guys going left and right, trying to make it through. Harlow just does. First car to come into the picture and hit him. It's going to be, the 75 of Charles Phelps there, the 24 Irby involved, and there's Joe Sanchez, nowhere to go for him in the 55, and that's going to be a major collision there between that group of drivers, and man, oh man, Charles Phelps, he went for a ride in that 75 machine.
Yeah, it did, unfortunately, multiple cars involved there, and multiple cars probably going to be done for the day as a lot of heavy damage to be handed out.
That is major damage. A lot of guys, like you said there, I think going to be over for the day. So we're right here on board with Charles Phelps, and you're going to see up ahead. And there's Wilson just dead stopped in the racetrack and surface, and even Shane Wyatt, nowhere to go for him in the 71 machine. I mean, so many drivers involved right there that just had nowhere to go as Zach Wilson had a major mistake there coming out of that dog leg. And That dog leg, it's such an interesting feature to this racetrack, Brian. I tell you, it's added such an aspect to this racetrack, and it's been a part of it for a long, long time. But the added reconfiguration that they did to this racetrack, there, the add banking and such to it's really changed this racetrack over the years.
Oh yeah, but when they did those renovations back in 2017, and they started changing this track, I think the guys over at Phoenix, they knew exactly what the dog leg was. They knew that they had something special, and they wanted to highlight that, and I mean it does exactly just that. That dog leg is a feature that we see nowhere else on the schedule. And I got a little curious earlier, Zach. I was like, well, why do they call it the dog leg? Well, like that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But from what I can gather based off of my research is that the dog leg term actually comes from golf. When it they when there's a dog leg on a course, it's where if from the tee box, if the course kind of bends and you can't see the green from the tee box because the course bends, they call that a dog leg. So I think some of those NASCAR drivers that were into golfing back in the day, I think they probably gave that corner in Phoenix that term. So that's a dog leg for you. It's supposed to resemble the hind leg of a dog because they got bends in them, I guess.
Well, there is a Brian Johnson factoid there for all you fans at home. So hope you all enjoyed that one. Definitely bringing the great facts there to us to the racetrack. And yeah, man, it's added such a special feature to this racetrack, and it's been there forever. I mean, it's been here since the start. So it's cool to see what they've done to change it up. As we're gonna see here, pace car pulling in. We're gonna get ready to go back green flag racing, and got to remember here, when we take this green flag here, it is going to be 3 to go in the stage. And man, I tell you what, Miranda there starting in 6th. He wants to win the stage after he won that first one. We're going to see how this one plays out here as they head down to the restart zone for the final time here in stage number 2. Wyatt Brackett going to be in control of the field. Austin Shoemaker in the 14. Green flag is out in the air as now Brackett takes off, and it's going to be a dart from everybody else down low here as you're going to see Steven Stippian here as we ride on board with him for the final laps here of this stage.
Yeah, you see the 91 there, Eric Stanford got into the wall a little bit as Miranda trying to make things work up to third now as we got a caution.
And quickly going to get a caution there. I believe this caution here will be the ending to our stage. No official word on that, but we'll have to figure that one out. But definitely something there to bring out the caution here for the 4th time in stage 2. Been somewhat of the calamity stage here as drivers been trying to find the grip, and it's been slowly slipping away as we're going to go back to the instant replay. And I believe this all started with the 89 machine of Shane Parrish there, and it's going to go pretty pear-shaped here for Shane here very quickly to see Muscarella there on the bottom lane coming up into the 27 machine there, who in their turn is going to get into that 89, putting him up in the wall and bounces him off the wall into that 68. The 11 comes through, and he's just going to spin like a top from there, man. Just heavy damage for a few drivers here as they try to squeeze through. There's Isaac Mock does it a 7. Look at Warren Kyle Keefe in the 42 there trying to get by our winner from last week. He just narrowly escapes that, but does have a good bit of right front and rear damage from some contact.
Yeah, so based off of those last 2 cautions, I'm liking that option to stay out a couple cautions ago. I'm liking that even better now. When you pit and you get into the back of the pack like that, you put yourself at risk for getting involved in some of this stuff.
Look at this here. I believe this is going to end our stage here for the night at the MPI Cup Series for stage number 2. So Ryan Kendall going to bring his car down the pit road, but I believe it is going to be scored as Wyatt Brackett unofficially. That stage winner will have to get confirmation going into next week for that. But as this stage break comes up and they hit pit road, we're going to head to another commercial break here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we get ready to see all this action here in the final 110 laps here at the Phoenix Raceway here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the MPI Cup Series. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be right back here after our quick commercial break.
There is Max Papis in the Ferrari. As great a race as Ferrari has ever won.
The steering wheel for me has always been a sensitive spot. There's a whole experience there that we're all trying to refine. Max Pappas, he asked me one day, he said, what can I do in a wheel? I said, well, with the new
What I'm really proud is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip
Yeah.
has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive.
Yeah.
They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
All right, we are back here. Everybody's we're getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Parker Bland out front of the oval machine. The 19 of Joseph Mahar here in second as we go back. Green flag racing here for the start of the final stage of this race here as they head down to turn 1 and 2. It's going to be Parker Bland well out front, but Mahar are going to be trying to hold off Austin Reedy as they got a pack of hungry wolves behind them here heading through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and speaking of Mahar, you know, it wasn't that long ago that he got into the wall and was headed towards the back of the field, so good recovery from him as he's battling for second with Austin Reedy right there. Again, another good recovery from Austin Reedy as he's going to take second.
Look at this, too. We got another big mover, Warren Kyle Keith there. He's got damage on that 42 machine, but he's continuing to work his way forward as they just pitted there on that lap 88 stage break there for some tires and some fuel. But man, this right here, I like the call from Parker Bland, Austin Reedy, Joseph Mahar. These guys, they pitted at lap 83 there, so really only 5 laps difference, and we got a caution too with that too. So a little bit of difference on tires there for them. So I think that's a good call. It's 3 wide. There's Marinda makes the move. Mahar's going to back out of it, but there's the 42 of Warren Kyle Keith close on the quarter panel of that 99, but Marinda makes the move, and he moves up another spot in that 99 machine.
Yep, it's just behind him. Mahar trying to fight off the 10 of Wyatt Brackett there. Battling for, I believe that's 6th place. Is Brackett going to go right down to the inside of that dog leg and might clear him as they go off into 1.
Yeah, Mahar there dropping back quickly on that outside line. He's going to have the 8 of Hastings there up top. The 14 of Austin Shoemaker down low as they try to split the 19 who's been somewhat going backwards after he started in that second spot up front. Now Mahar finally able to get down low there to the corner as he's finally got some room to breathe. And still Parker Bland out front, but it's going to be a battle quickly as Austin Reedy for second position has Mario Marinda, and they're not far behind Parker Bland for that first position.
No, yeah, but a couple of corners before, Austin Reedy tried to make a move on Parker Bland, couldn't quite clear him, couldn't quite make it work, and so now he's got a rear view mirror full of Marinda as he goes to the inside, still battling side by side as they're going to be trying to avoid the 2 car there coming out of turn 4. As Marinda is going to clear Austin Reedy there. Well, Austin Reedy going to fight back. Not going to let him have it that easily. But Marinda's still going to be setting his sights on Parker Bland, trying to get that lead back.
Tough racing there. right there, you can see Austin Reed not want to let that 99 just get by that easily, but he gets it done coming off of turn 2 as now they come out of 4. Big run for the 99 again. He took it way low last time, decides not to here now, looks to the inside for the lead. Parker Blaine in the 01 trying to hold him off, but Miranda, he has been unstoppable tonight. He has been on fire. And I tell you what, the driver that gave him the most trouble, Zach Wilson, he's out of this race. So now Miranda trying to do everything in his power to get back out front.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think, yeah, it's hard to say who is going to be able to compete with Mario Miranda at this point, with Zach Wilson having that mistake and being out of the race now. You know, it's going to take some strategy to try to compete with Mario Miranda tonight.
Oh, and you can see Parker Blaine try to do the crossover, gets loose and saves it though. What a lockdown for the 01 machine. Saves it, loses a lot of track position, going to drop it all the way back here side by side now with the 32 of Richard Swavely, as he's got the 81 of Steven Stippian going by there, and now it's going to drop him back for about the 12th spot. So tough break there, second back to 12th there, about 10 positions lost.
Yeah, just a little bit loose. You know, again, we were talking earlier with this next-gen car, you gotta keep it within the limits, or it can be kind of tough to tame, but still a great save by him. Good job keeping it out of the wall as much as he did there. As this guy's somewhat single file, we do have a little bit of a battle going on between Brandon Banks in the 54 and Dylan Hastings in the 8th, battle for 7th, I believe. As Brandon Banks trying to power on the outside, trying to clear the 8 before they get out of 2 here, but not going to happen as they're still battling side by side.
Yeah, great battle there between those two, but Banks is going to hold on. Now that's going to let Ross Harlow in the 5, and along with Steven Stippian possibly, to come here and try to get to the outside of the 8 machine of Dylan Hastings, who's really been the biggest mover all night here, 26th to 9th now, as he does drop back there with Harlow getting by, but man, still moving his way on up through the field. That is a great job by Dylan Hastings.
Yeah, you know, that always feels good as a driver. You know, it didn't have the qualifying effort that you'd hope to have, or maybe you knew that that's where you were going to qualify, and you know, you're hoping that the race goes your way. And so far, Dylan Hastings able to stay out of that mayhem that happened a little bit ago, and you know, up to 9th place. You know, battling Steven Stippian there for 9th place, but you know, really solid run for him so far here tonight.
Solid run indeed. You know, that's one thing the 5 needs. 40th coming here in boys night. The 5 needs everything he can, and Ross Harlow trying to get this. But Steven Stippian now trying to look to the inside of Hastings behind Harlow as they continue to battle on. And Banks up ahead. He's got Harlow to the outside now also. So great battles all around the track. But look at this. Dakota Curtis up to 12th from the 22nd starter spot. At one point was outside the top 30. Dakota Curtis here looking for a good run. It's been a tough season, a lot of bad luck on the side of the 1, and he's showing some good speed here in that Podium Esports machine.
Yeah, you know, he's moved up quite a few spots too. Started to like in 22nd up to 12th, so plus 10 for him. So pretty good points right there. But yeah, Zach, I'm with you when it comes to that 5 car of Ross Harlow. You know, not very good finishes the first 3-4 weeks here, but you know, tonight 7th is decent. 7th, 8th is decent, but you know, you'd really like to get a top 5 to help you bounce back from you know, just not getting that many points in the first few weeks here.
Yeah, and you know, that's you know, it's something me and Sam I think I brought up a lot. You know, with Ross is, you know, tough break last week. Will he bounce back? Tough break. Will he bounce back? Because you know, he started off 29th at Daytona. We thought that was a tough break. Then he goes to Auto Club, finishes 39th. We thought that was tough. Then 1 week later, we go to Las Vegas. He finishes 40th. So, I mean, it's just been tough break on top of tough break. And tonight, a little bit of a difference here as we're past halfway. The 5 is still out there making laps. Qualified on pole 2. That's the thing. Showed a lot of speed here, but trying to make his way back up track position-wise with Banks in the 54. Doing a great job as they're battling with Austin Shoemaker here in this 14 directly ahead of them.
Yeah, I gotta say, Brandon Banks, you know, he doesn't, you know, looking at him throughout the race, doesn't seem like he's, you know, all that fast. Maybe doesn't have top 5 speed, but I think at this point in the race, you know, he's just been kind of one of those quiet underdogs. at least from a top three point of view. He's just slowly picking these guys off one by one, and I think before we know it, if we stay green here, we may see him, crack the top five and possibly the top three.
It's very possible for that machine, so we'll have to see how that works out. Do you want to give an update on a few guys that have pulled their cars behind the wall here this evening? And one is going to be Shane Parrish in the 85 machine. He's going to pull that thing behind the wall. Daniel Holcraft, Joe Sanchez, Zach Wilson, all those drivers going to be behind the wall and out of this race, along with I believe Dustin Reeves, who is out back on the racetrack in the 6th machine, but he's in the 38th position, trying to make up some spots with drivers who are multiple laps down and already pulled him behind the wall. So Dustin Reeves can really jump up anywhere from all the way 38th all the way to 31st for that 6th machine, who's back out there doing some laps in that damaged car. So great job by Dustin trying to get some more points.
Yeah, just looking at the point, Dustin Reeves, sitting there 19th in points right now. So he's going to have to get, everything he can get to, when you don't have many points and you're in a position in a race where you don't have many points, that 1 point means all that much more. So you got to go out there and get as much as you can. And then looking at the points again, Joe Sanchez sitting there 36, 27 laps down. He was sitting 4th in points, so that's going to be kind of a hard hit for him. Once these results get official and he sees how many positions he's lost, gotta bounce back from this one. He had a good one going for him.
And here's the 32 machine of Richard Swavely. He's trying to work his way past the 8 of Dylan Hastings for a top 10 spot. Swavely's been right around this spot all night long, and also got the one of Dakota Curtis there, who's driven up right here to the back bumper. Not too far behind is Justin Hendry, Alex Muscarella, who's dropped way back from that top 5 he was up into, along with Lawson Peel in the 53 here, all the way back to 15th. So a great little group we got going on right here. These drivers all trying to find spots. It's just 3 wide here in the middle of 3 and 4. The 11 of Hendry in the middle, that Muscarella on the outside, and Lawson Peel on the bottom. Here as they race side by side. Here comes Garrett Brown to the outside looking for that position.
Yeah, Zach, I mean, they're racing like it's, close to the end of the races. Ooh, the 1 and the 8 door each other coming out of 4 there. 1 able to save it as he was getting pretty loose, but, that's going to stack up these guys even more, and we're 3 wide again as we head into 1.
3 wide one more time. Eric Stanford on the bottom, Muscarella in the middle, and the 11 of Hendry up top. They will do it once more down in 1 and 2 as they're trying to find every little bit of space of grip and bit of racetrack to race here side by side. But Muscarella trying his best to go around this group here. But, man, Dakota Curtis had that pass almost done on Hastings, got into the door and just got a little bit loose from there and just dropped back 2 spots there with that, trying to regain a little bit of speed as he slides up in front of that 48 machine as this group continues to battle really hard.
And up front, your leader's still Mario Mirinda, but not too far behind is Wyatt Brackett. We said with Zach Wilson being taken out of this race, we didn't think he was going to be competitive and able to stay with Mirinda here, but Wyatt Brackett right there looks like he will, be our guy.
Yeah, he's putting the pressure on now, Brian. Wyatt Brackett is the first driver, other than Zach Wilson, to really be able to stay right to the back bumper of this 99 throughout this far into the run. And right now, Mirinda, I see him, he's getting a little tight. He was tight off of turn number 4 there. Had to lift a little bit not to get in the wall. That gave Brackett the chance to go possibly to the inside. He decides not to, but here, looking to the outside, as Mirinda's going to cut down, do the shorter distance, it's going to give him the room to pull away. But Brackett there looking for something. He's trying to set something up here to set this pass up. And the question is, what do we do strategy wise here, Brian? I mean, it's definitely a one stop down to the end of this race after these guys pit on lap 88. So I'm imagining really around 150 you might see that window start to open up for some guys coming down with about 50 to 40 to go.
Yeah, I'm liking halfway. That's always the safe bet. But I think you will see some guys possibly try to run out the tank here, go a little bit further, and trying to see if they can catch a caution, especially guys out towards the back of the field. Those guys might stay out a little bit longer and see if they can get a little lucky with that caution. Um, but other than that, I think, safe bet is somewhere between maybe 145 to 160 is where you'll see a lot of these guys come down.
I think that is a good zone indeed, my friend. So we'll see what happens with the group of drivers out front as our top four have broken away about 3 seconds back to fifth of Brandon Banks. I tell you who's on the move. It's the 81 of Steven Stipping. He fell back as far as 11th position on this past restart. He's now driven himself up to the 6th position as he takes that spot from Joseph Harmon. He had to drive around Harlow and Shoemaker also. So this 81 again showing the longer run is his strength, and he is coming forward here in the closing laps of this run. And we got a while, like we said before that pit windows opens up. If he can continue this and we stay green, this car is going to be very, very strong. Oh no, Dakota Curtis in the one, he takes it behind the wall here, and I'm unsure what happened to Dakota. I think he may have had some type of mistake there to bring him down, and got heavy right side damage on that car, so he decided to pull it in and call this race tonight.
Yeah, it looks like he just hit the wall a little bit there. Not sure, maybe that damage is a little bit worse than what it may appear to be, but either way, Dakota Curtis going to be done for the evening. As just looking at the lap times here, Austin Reedy was a little bit quicker than the top two guys there for a little bit, but Miranda's been able to kind of get that groove back for him, back into the 29.4s lap time wise. And that's kind of how our top guys have been running, right around the 29.4 range. Brandon Banks that time by was actually the fastest of the top 5. So that's interesting, as we, based off of what we think they might be, what lap they might be pitting at. We still got 20 laps to go here, so we'll see who has the the upper hand in the long run game here late in the race. As we know that Miranda had that long run pace early in the race, but maybe some of these other guys maybe learned something. Saw a little bit of something from just by running laps, or maybe they've observed some other guys running certain line. Maybe they've learned something. So we'll have to see who's got the fastest long run pace right now.
Yeah, and the driver I've been looking at with my timing and score that's really been clicking off the purple times, that's the 81. He was, until he's got to the back bumper of the 54 Brandon Banks now for this 5th position, he was clicking off times 4/10 quicker than anybody on the racetrack. So 81 of Steven Stippian showing long run strength here in the closing of this run here. And Miranda starting to stretch his legs on bracket here. This is just showing how strong that 81 machine is. Is Miranda out front 29.41, Steven Stippian back here 29.43, so almost matching the leader that time as he's caught up to Brandon Banks for that top 5 spot. And I believe we could possibly get up here our lap times even, so we could follow them here on our board. So if we can, we'll get those lap times up on the leaderboard here, and we'll be able to see what these drivers are turning throughout the field, see what your favorite driver, how fast are they turning compared to the leader. You can check that out now there on the leaderboard.
And there's got to be something that Steven Stippian is doing that is completely different than everybody else, because we've seen him early in the run, right off of these restarts, just does not have a whole lot of pace, really falls back. But here he is, one of the fastest cars on the track. There's got to be something he's doing completely different than everybody else. And I'd love to see the telemetry on that, but unfortunately I can't get that right now. But there's something he's doing that this car really, really likes over the course of a run.
Yeah, and unfortunate for him, the driver he's caught, Brandon Banks, is also very quick. Both of these drivers very quick on the long run. So Stippian is caught, he's caught up to him here in this position, but he's not been able to get much closer than what he is right here, just due to the fact that Brandon Banks is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack also. So these two right here very quickly closing into the group of Austin Reedy and Warren Kyle Keefe up directly ahead of him. Even Wyatt Brackett sliding in backwards towards them. So right now, Brandon Banks, Steven Stippian, they're looking to go forward here, while the group up ahead of them is starting to falter just a little bit.
I mean, you can see them, just about every corner. They get maybe half a car length, on the guys ahead of them. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen when they catch them. Will they be able to pass them, or will they get stalled out, kind of like Stimpian has been behind the 54?
Yeah, these two right here again, like I said, very, very quick. I mean, both of them in the 29.4s to our leaders 29.4, and the groups up ahead of them are 29.5s and 6s. So they're closing in on that group. But look, Harlow, he pits back from that 7th spot, and he'll be coming down pit road, the first one to do it here. And this is really early for me, Brian. He's electing to do this pretty early into this pit window, and man, he's got to go for a long, long time, but he's going to have a major undercut. If we get a caution or something where it doesn't all the way cycle through of pit stops, he can be sitting in a good spot of Ross Harlow.
Yeah, depending on if a caution comes out, when that caution comes out, he could be the winner in this pit strategy. But I'm like you, Zach. I think this is pretty early, especially when nobody else is coming down. Either nobody's really following him, so kind of the lone man out there on lap 130 pitting.
Yeah, and I might have just noticed this person, and I'll just watch Ross Harlow come off of pit road myself, and I gotta tell you, the exit off, or the dog leg there in the merge of pit road there on the exit of pit road is pretty scary. I mean, if you got some guys cutting these dog legs pretty aggressively going across the exit of that pit road, I mean, if we have someone coming out here on sequences, and you're trying to make a pass and you cut that dog leg and you run them over, I mean, that is going to be a major, major incident to talk about. And I tell you what, Ross Harlow, I'm watching it right now. He is cutting through the field like a hot knife on butter right now with those new tires, and he is just slicing and dicing. So new tires really showing to be prevalent, but I don't think Miranda, Brackett, Reedy, Keith, Banks, or Stimpian, any of these top 6 here within this group of the first 3 seconds here, I don't think they're going to come down this early. I think they're going to wait as long as possible, because you always got that double-edged sword of, if you come too early and the caution does come out, if you're Ross Harlow, you're almost 2 laps down. You're pretty much a lap and a half down here at this point.
Yeah, it's funny, Zach, that you bring up that pit road exit deal. Because in practice, I was watching these guys, especially the guys that were doing those mock qualifying runs. You go out there and you finish your lap, and then, you just kind of pull off to the side. You don't really kind of go down pit road. You just pull off to the side to stop, and you can get out of the car and do it again. But when you're a car on the track and you go to cut that dog leg, you can't see the guys coming out of pit road until it's too late. So that's something we're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on. Once these green flag pit stops do happen, because if there's some battles going on and these guys do decide to cut that dog leg, if you're coming out of pit road, you might be just an innocent bystander.
It could very well get very dangerous. We're seeing some more drivers hit pit road. Garrett Brown into 16. He's coming off the exit of pit road right now after his service on his race car. So right now the top 19 still have yet to hit pit road, as Miranda still leads out front. He's opened his lead up to about 1.7 seconds over that 10 of Wyatt Brackett, who that group though from second on back to 6th is really closing up. Brackett's still got a little bit of gap back to Reedy, but Austin Reedy, he's got some friends. He's got Warren Kalkeith, who's been there for a while, but Brandon Banks and Steven Stimpian, the two we've been talking about, who've closed in on him here on this longer run, they are right there within grips also. So Brandon Banks showing his strength, like we said already with the long run. Same with Steven Stimpian as those two march forward.
I have to wonder, if you're Brandon Banks and Steven Stimpian, do you stay on track and keep, taking away the gap between you and the guys ahead of you? Do you stay out on track long enough just before you go to pass them, and instead of trying to attempt that pass, you just come down pit road? Is that going to be a quicker option? Are you going to be able to pass them via green flag pit stops as opposed to on the track? Is that going to be a more efficient way of doing that?
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to it. Steven Stimpian, he was very, very quick. He caught up to Brandon Banks, who was also trying quick times. To get around a quick driver, it is tough. I mean, when someone else is quick, just because you're just a couple hundredths quicker doesn't mean you're going to get that pass done. It gets very tough when you get directly behind this group here, as we ride on board with the 42 machine on his front bumper. We're going to see this 96. He's got pressure right now. Austin Reedy, he's been stellar. I mean, just stellar throughout this whole entire season so far, starting off with 2 wins. And I mean, in a great finish at Las Vegas also for that 96. But here again, just fighting off this 42, showing strength in that 96, even on the older tires.
Yeah, and you know, got to remember we saw Austin Reedy get into the wall earlier in this race, so he did have to drive back up here and make a bit of a comeback, and he's done exactly that. Been consistent since he got back up here, and has you know, been able to hold off the 42 for you know, this amount of time. As you know, the 54 and 81 of Brandon Banks and Steven Simpkin still just barely inching forward. As you got this lap car here, Sean Callis in the 43. He's pitted. He's on those fresh tires, but he's being kind of held up by these guys a little bit.
Sean trying to work his way by here in this 43, but just has not been able to get it done, and it's definitely affecting the battle. Warnock keep trying to make the move on Reedy, but just wasn't able to do it due to the lap car there. But here comes that 43 machine trying to make it happen once more again, but the 42 holds station. Is just them tires not available to that 43 to be able to get the move done. But man, it's definitely it's tough. This is a tough deal right here when you know you're a lap car trying to do your own thing, trying to make way for your own, you know, and make your own race happen. But you're also right here in the mix of this battle. But man, Warren Kalki, you know, he's probably steaming a little bit, but there he goes now. There goes the 43, finally makes that move.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you got a lap car that's trying to pass you. It is a little bit frustrating, but the thing about it is that you know, after he passes you and he goes to pass the guy that you've been trying to pass, well, now he may have opened the door up for you. Unfortunately, that didn't happen to Warren Kyle Keith right then, but you know, sometimes those lap cars on those fresh tires trying to get around you are a blessing in disguise.
They definitely can be. You know, we've seen Austin Reedy get used with a lap car with Steven Stippian in stage 1 of this race, so it's very possible. Oh man, and this was not what Ross Harlow wanted to see. Is now the yellow flag flies on the racetrack, and I think it's a big one. As Lawson Pill in the 53, he's got a major wreck down here in the dog leg as he's made contact. It looks like with Judd Danielson possibly in the 85.
Yeah, another car that got loose in the dog leg.
It's an uncommon sight, you know, personally for us to see. As we'll go back here on this and replay and see, you know, what exactly happened to Lawson Pill here in the 53. He's going to be coming out of the corner here. That rear's already a good bit kicked out, exiting off the corner. He's already going across the start-finish line. Goes to cut the dog leg, and when he cuts it, it almost seems like the car bottomed out and just shot straight right. He almost had damage pop up even when he went down there. So maybe he's just cutting it a little bit too aggressive with the rear end already kicked out, and that sends him across the racetrack. Judd Danielson nowhere to go, and Lawson Pill, who comes into this race 35th in points. This is not what that rookie needs to see.
Yeah, just you know, another example of one of those tough breaks. Just very unfortunate.
It was as not something you want to see there happen to the drivers out there getting themselves taken out of this race. So tough deal, but everybody coming down to pit road. This is going to even the playing field here a little bit, as Mirinda is going to win the race off of pit road. But got to know Austin Reedy, he had about 4 or 5 lap less fresh tires than this group here for majority of that run. We'll see if that helps that 96 here for this next restart. But man, Brian, we've had an eventful race so far, and it's definitely been an interesting one with how Mirinda is just being able to be so strong. It seems like once we get 30 laps into the run, he just really starts to open up that gap.
Yeah, you know, that's when he's you know, very dominant. But even in the early and mid run, just very solid. You know, not a lot of guys can really hang with him. They can be stuck up behind his bumper for maybe 20 laps, but you know, we haven't really seen anybody been able to make moves on him all night long. So Mirinda putting on a dominant performance here tonight, and these guys only got 55 laps to figure out what they're gonna do to try to knock him off that top spot. But at this point right now, I think you know, it's going to be tough to beat him with as consistent as he is.
That's kind of my thing is, you know, it's going to be tough to beat him just due to the fact is Mirinda, we've seen, you know, from a majority of the night when he's been up in this lead, he's got to the lead, had the short run speed, you know, had that ability to make the passes, get to the lead. but also he's had the ability to carry the speed into the long run where it seems like the drivers that have been directly behind him, following that 99 have not been able to keep pace. Once, like I said, we hit that 25, that lap 30 marker, it seems like a few guys, farther back, Brandon Banks, Steven Stippian, they really start to hit their stride at that point. Whereas the other drivers, Wyatt Brackett, Reedy, and Warren Kalki, they seem to be slipping back a little bit as the run goes on. I mean, some of these guys do have a little bit of damage, so I think that might be affecting them also. But still, I mean, Mirinda, he's been able to have it all. He's had the short run, the mid run, the long run pace for everything there. So it's really worked out in his favor. It's going to be a tough ordeal to get by this 99. I mean, we've seen him make mistakes so far early in the season. I mean, he had such a good season last season, but mistakes are very, very possible. And on a track like this, it's very easily to happen. So we can see what Miranda's got, but man, he's had a dominant performance nonetheless here tonight.
Yeah, when it comes to league racing, every time you come to Phoenix, there's always that one guy that just has everything figured out. And I think tonight that's Mirinda so far. But like you said, Zach, anything is possible and anything can happen. And so far we have seen it.
That we have seen it here, man. It's been fantastic action throughout the whole entire field here. But I think, we need to, see how this action sounds like and get a feel of it here as we're going to take you for a crank it up here. Brought to you by Butt Kicker here, Freaky Fast Broadcasting on this restart here as they're going to be taking the green flag here to go green. And we are back here after that Butt Kicker crank it up. Make sure you head on over to buttkicker.com. You can check out all of their various products there at buttkicker.com to feel what you've been missing. Use our discount code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off there of a Butt Kicker product. So make sure you head on over to buttkicker.com and you can feel what you've been missing. But what a great shot it was. Action-packed happening right now as everybody tries to figure out what they're going to do here in the final run down to the end of this race. Fuel, not an issue. But right now, it's Brandon Banks back here battling almost 3 wide with Richard Swavely.
Yep. Very close racing here as they head off into 3. Eric Stanford on the outside of Swavely right there. As they get really, really close, Swavely pushes up the track just a little bit. As he's going to cut the dog leg way, way down. Trying to make some time on that 91, but not going to happen as the 91 really sends it into turn 1. Here comes Swavely back on the bottom. They're still going to be battling coming out of 2.
Stanford holds position as they head down the back straightaway, down to 3 and 4. He covers off that bottom lane. Swavely drops back as the 14 Shoemaker tries to make the move to the outside here for that 8th position. Swavely going to drop it all the way low on the dog leg. We've seen that transition be an issue, but Swavely takes it very smoothly down there as we're going to be under 50 to go now. As these drivers know it's go time, Brian. No worry about fuel, no worry about anything else. They're going to be going to the end of this race here at the stage green.
Yeah, it was the final stretch now. Whatever you were saving in the tank or on the tires or behind the steering wheel, you're not saving it anymore. You're putting it all out there. There's no more give and take. It's just take. There's nothing else left to give. So we get this on board from the 14 there of Austin Shoemaker. Nice 1 and 2 right there. As you can see, the guys ahead of him all single file right now, but way up in the front, Wyatt Brackett there, right on the back bumper of Mario Mirinda. Is this the time where he figures out how to get around this 99 car?
Hop on board here, Wyatt. You're going to see him try to set up this 99. I mean, we've seen that the clean air out front, it's been successful. I mean, Mirinda has done it from dirty air. He's drove up and took the lead. But if Brackett here can get this lead just at the right time, it could be so crucial because it comes so much harder to pass here once these tires begin to wear. Wyatt Brackett, though, trying everything in his power to get it done, but it's the group behind him battling. Warren Kyle Keith, he's trying to hold on to third, but Austin Reedy says, no, sir. He's going to dive it down low, as we can see from Steven Stipien's point of view from the 5th position. Reedy almost up into Keith. Warren Kyle Keith, though, winner for Las Vegas. Great run off the top, and he's going to hold on to that third spot. This is going to give a run, though, for Stipien here. He looks low, heading down to 3 and 4.
Yeah, Stimp going to really send it off there into 3, but is Austin going to have that run on the outside? It looks like he might. Steven Stempien going to cut it way down low. Still going to stay on his inside just for the time being, but looks like Austin Reedy is going to clear as they come out of 2. Wyatt Brackett and Mario Miranda still bumper to bumper up front.
Yeah, Brackett not letting Miranda get away, and you know these drivers trying to get themselves into victory lane. Neither one of them able to do it so far yet this season. Both Final Four contenders, and they've shown why as they're out front here at the moment, pulling away from Will Kyle Keith. Here comes the move to the outside here. Brackett trying something. He thinks maybe if he can get to that quarter panel, it might be the move done, but Miranda too strong on the bottom. He clears that 10 off the X and is able to hold on there off of 2 as they head to 3 and 4 to complete another lap by here, Brian. You know, this place, a very historic circuit here in Phoenix. You know, the Cup Series was brought to this place, you know, really recently. I mean, 1988 is not that long ago, and you know, that was the first official NASCAR Cup Series race here. And you know, some historic things went down. You know, Alan Quickie was able to do that first Polish victory lap here and crown that his victory style. I mean, who are we going to see do that Polish victory lap here tonight? I mean, you got drivers battling all over the place. Banks now trying to go for Stipien for the 5th spot here.
Yeah, we got battles all over the place. Battles for 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th. As Banks going to cut it way down, as a lot of these guys are doing. You weren't seeing it a whole lot earlier in the race, but you definitely are now. As Banks looks like he may be able to clear Steven Stempien as they come out of 2, which he will. Stempien not able to get a great run out of 2. Eric Stanford right behind him, looking to take advantage of an opportunity. But right now, it does not present itself.
And this is something we've seen from the 81, though. He seems to not fire off that well. It seems like first couple laps pretty good, but it seems like the next 5 to 10 after that, not as well. As Stanford there sends it down to the inside, and I think that's a little bit of tire management. But you know, at the same time, it's tough to give up that track position, Brian. I mean, Stanford's fighting strong for that spot there with him. Stipien, though, trying to save his tires, but if you save too much, sometimes you lose so much time doing that, and it can be a detriment to you. But look at this. Jumping back here to Ross Harlow. He's in the 16th position, battling back here with Dylan Hastings. Harlow was luckily able to get back on the lead lap after that caution, after hitting pit road, but has lost a bunch of track position. What can Harlow do to gain all that back?
Yeah, well, I think he's definitely going to need a caution to get back up to where he was running before. You know, he was there, you know, on the verge of, you know, right around there in 5th position. But you know, sitting back there in 16th, 9.1 seconds behind the leader right now. You know, he's got to have gonna have to have a caution to gain some of that track position back. So, you know, again, just another week of tough breaks for him. You know, unfortunately, just untimely caution.
Untimely caution indeed. Here's Muscarella, though. He's trying to work over the 14 of Shoemaker here. This is 9th and 10th. They got Richard Swavely there in front of him in that 32 machine for that 8th position. Trying to make that move as Muscarella just has not been able to get it done. As you see, they're catching up to Steven Stipien, the 81, who's dropping as far back to them. I mean, he's 3.8 seconds back now from the lead. And, you know, this may not be a race-winning move for Steven Stipien saving tire, but, you know, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if that works out for him, because it seemed to work out earlier in this race, but we'll see if he can get the job done. But Muscarella, the pressure is real from that 48. He has got it all over the back bumper to 14, and he is making sure he's known that it's there. As Richard Swavely just I gotta say, Swavely's had a very nice day there. Started 19th, has worked his way right up around 12th, and he's kind of been right there from 8th to 12th all night long.
Yeah, he's been very, very consistent. Once he's gotten up there, he hadn't, you know, very far away from that 8th position. So, it's just one of those cases of being consistent. It's going to be a great points day for him, as just up ahead of him, seeing Steven Stympian trying to get that position back from Eric Stanford for sixth place, but just can't quite do it down here in 1 and 2. But is he going to have a run as they head into 3 and 4? It doesn't look like it. But Steven Stympian, maybe he's that phase for him of saving tires. Maybe that's starting to come back to him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We're about 20 laps into this run already, and Miranda still has Wyatt Brackett not too far behind, about 3/10 back of him. So those two still holding pace, but I think Miranda's starting to be the part of the run where he's starting to stretch his legs. Now we'll see, can Stanford hold off Stympian, who was able to get around him, and that's always an interesting thing, Brian. Yourself as a driver, take us through that. You're a driver that if someone passes you there, and that they struggle a little bit on the long run, they are good on that short run compared to where your strengths and weaknesses are. How tough is it when someone passes you and then all of a sudden you're right back trying to pass them again a couple laps later?
Well, it is very frustrating because chances are you did have to work for that position, and then not too many laps later, here they are. But and especially with the last A car that we had, last Cup car, and this next gen car too. You don't, when you're a driver like Steven Stympian and you like saving tires, and you know that you're going to get passed, it's really tough to let those guys pass you, because that them passing you is easier than you having to pass them later, because even though you do have that little bit better tire wear later in the run, the tires have just fallen off so much at that point that any passes are going to be really difficult to make. So, for guys like Steven Stympian who are saving tires early in the run, you want to lose as little positions as possible. But what you really want is to have an open track, kind of like he has right here, where the tires that you have saved, you're really able to show those off just based off of pace. And so I think that's what he's able to do here, right here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Steven Stympian was able to get back to sixth there, past Eric Stanford. So Stanford, who is the biggest mover of this race, up 22 spots from 29th to 7th. So good job by him there. But you can see Steven Stympian, he's already closed into Reedy and Brandon Banks. So really closed them down pretty quickly here for that 4th and 5th spot. But Brandon Banks, we know how quick he is as the run goes on. It's going to be tough for Stympian probably to get something trying to done on him. But Reedy definitely starting to struggle as this run continues on. And that could be due a little bit to that damage on that car. I mean, he got hard into that wall. It spun him earlier in this race, but definitely a little bit of a struggle here on the longer runs for this 96 all night.
Yeah, Austin, he's been solid all race long, but that car definitely has not been the same since he did hit that wall. So kind of unfortunate for him. But, the good thing about that deal is, even though he is getting passed by Steven Stympian right here, is that, sixth place, that's still a solid finish, especially when you're involved in an accident like he was in, hitting the wall, spinning out, and things like that. So, that's still a very, very good solid run out of Austin.
And I tell you what, too, Brian, we pitted there on lap 143. We're going to be coming up here very quickly on about 30 laps since we pitted. Mario Miranda still has Wyatt Brackett all over the back end of him. I mean, Wyatt Brackett has not gave him a second to breathe. You see Stympian made the pass on Reedy there for that 5th spot. But, man, Miranda still got pressure here in these final closing 30 laps, and we'll see if Brackett can hang on this time, but it seems like this is the point of the run where Miranda's been able to really stretch it out. But now we'll see. Has Brackett figured something out? Has he made a change to his driving style? He almost gets up into the wall, and I think it's starting to show here. That car starting to fade.
Yeah, when you're in Wyatt Brackett's position and you're behind the leader, and that leader's been the dominant car all race long, while you do have that dirty air on you, you're right behind him. You're able to see exactly what he's doing, and if you're able to duplicate that and get the same pace that that guy ahead of you is getting, that's really good for yourself. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of that as as we just started talking to him. Miranda was able to pull a 10th on bracket there. So we may be starting to see the beginnings of Miranda starting to stretch his legs there, stretch that lead. But bracket not too far behind, and we haven't seen a run longer than 45 laps. So maybe towards the very, very, very tail end of this run, maybe Bracket's got something for him.
It is very possible that that could play out. I mean, like you said, we haven't seen nothing longer than 45 laps. So if this run goes all the way to the end, his whole bracket almost another mistake up front. As we look back to Warren Kyle Keith, who's got Brandon Banks and Steven Stipino again showing to come forward here at the end of the run. If this goes all the way, this could play out very interestingly. We don't know it's kind of the unknown, I guess you could say, for these drivers. So we'll see what these guys have. But remember, they pitted on 143, so you're going to be looking at really about 57 laps. So that's about 10 to 11 more than what we've seen. So we'll see what these guys can produce. But it's going to be a tough one down to the end here as they're holding on for these tires.
And just looking through the field, everybody else pretty spread out. Up front is kind of our closest battles going on right now. You do have the 9 of Bill Schoonover back in 18th, just made the pass on Brad Fulham in the 45 for 17th position there. But other than that, kind of going through the field, everybody's kind of got sorted out, spread out. So up front, kind of our biggest battles right now.
Big battles for sure, and I think where it's going to happen is for that third position. Is Warren Kyle Keith, he has got pressure, and pressure is starting to pick up as Banks is there. He's sticking his nose to the inside, and Steven Stipien also in the 81 showing again that long run pace very strong as he gets to run down the back straightaway here. He may look to the inside of Banks, actually decides better of it here as they head down to 3 and 4. Kyle Keith, though, taking that line away, and that is really going to take the air off that nose, and that's what he's got to do. If you leave that bottom open, I think those guys that are stronger on the long run might have a chance here.
Yeah, and when you're in Steven Stipien's position, and the 54 is trying to make something work on the 42, you got two obvious options. You can either stay behind the 54 and maybe you can use him to get around the 42, and both of y'all get a position, or we got a caution here.
And that changes everything. And I was thinking we're getting near that point of the run where we've seen majority of our cautions happen, and we have another one come out, and I'm actually unsure for what that caution is. We're having a look here to find it on the racetrack at the moment. Is caution coming out for definitely an interesting reason. So once we find out, we'll let y'all know. But looks like possibly maybe Richard Swavely. Yeah, that's what happened. It was the 32 of Richard Swavely. He got on the apron coming off of 1 and 2, caught that yellow line, and just that car got a little bit sideways, and he got it back straight so quickly that I believe it's not triggered our software. So we did not get that there, ladies and gentlemen. But Richard Swavely went for a little bit of a slide, but he caught it and was no problems for him other than the loss of tire wear. But it doesn't matter anyways, because I think everybody coming down here to pit road, as you can see, Miranda, he's coming down.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to want some tires here. This is a pretty easy call. Come down pit road, get the tires, and as we were talking before, that's exactly what Ross Harlow wanted to see. He needed a caution to get back into this thing, and there it was.
I tell you what, too, this plays it out to where the point where we've seen that 10 machine be very, very strong and able to keep up with the 99. And as we're seeing here off the race off of pit road, I believe it's the 99 who's won that. But I believe Bill Schoonover, who now in the 9 hits pit road this time, will be coming in. So, okay, there we go. I was about to say the 9 machine was staying out. I was about to question that, but he's going to bring it on down here, get service done. But Miranda, though, going to have the lead along with Warren Kyle Keith there in second. Looks like Brackett's going to come out in third. Steven Stimpy in fourth. Austin Reedy fifth. Muscarella looks like he'll be sixth, and in the seventh position is going to be Brandon Banks. So Brandon Banks there losing out big there from that fourth spot.
Yeah, so here we are. Gonna be less than 20 to go when we go back green, so you have to wonder if you're in Steven Stimpion's shoes. You know that the whole race, I've been focused on the long run pace. I've been working on saving my tires, doing all that. I've got less than 20 laps to go. Can I make this work? Can I make my car work? Can I make my pace work to try to hold these positions or gain some positions with this short run that we're going to have here to the end?
Yeah, I there's no saving here. I don't think if you save any bit at all here, I think it's just a wasted save. So got to use what your pit crew gave you in the car that you got the ability to drive. So it's going to be interesting to see, can he turn it up in that 81 machine, or is that just, sometimes it isn't even a tire saving thing. Sometimes that's just the overall pace of a driver, and it comes to him as the run goes on, as they start off a little bit slower than some other drivers. So it could be that factor, or he could have been saving tires. So we'll have to see. But Warren Keith again, I mean, what a job by him to be in position here once again to possibly win another race. This will be the third time this season he's been up front, really, with a chance to win. I mean, even at Daytona, I mean, you could say four times technically at Daytona, technically, since he's led laps there. But I mean, you got to give the 42 a shout out. 40th to first last week, now up to the second spot once again. He's trying to go for another victory, but Miranda, he has been unstoppable so far, Brian.
He's been unstoppable, but the guys behind him have been focused on those long runs. They know that they've had to save the tires. They don't have to do that anymore. So are we going to see these guys go out for blood? Are they going to be hounding Miranda every single corner? Or is it going to be the same thing that we've seen the whole race, where Miranda is just able to get to that lead and stretch it?
We will have to see. Into the restart zone, Miranda with the control of the field. He's off and away. Great start, though, Warren Keith. That's been one of the best starts we've seen from the second place position, as Miranda will clear there. But now it's going to be the battle for second. What does Wyatt Brackett have? We've seen all night long that outside line be the preferred way to hold somebody off. And I think Warren Keith going to be able to have the position. Now Reedy going to slide up. Can he get to the outside of the 10 as the 10 slides up to the wall?
42 able to clear him right there. He's going to set his sights on Miranda. Is he going to be as patient as he was earlier in the race? Same thing with Wyatt Brackett. All these guys, no more patience anymore. It's go time. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. You see Brandon Banks coming up behind Steven Simpian. I think he had a slow pit stop there, maybe slid through his box, lost a few positions, so he's having to gain those back, as the 10 still right behind the 42 there as they come out of 2.
Wyatt Brackett there trying to make something happen for the second spot. As there he goes to the inside. Late move there is behind there. There's some action too. Is off the corner of turn number 4. They spread out down the back or down the front straightaway. Is now Wyatt Brackett fighting for second. Warren Keith, the winner last week, trying to hold on to the spot. It looks like they make contact. This Brackett's got to get out of it and slide up out the racetrack.
Yeah, I think he tried the inside. I think he's got to try the outside right now. The inside just doesn't have that run off that he's wanting. So I think he's gonna have to look to the outside of the 42 here as they go through the dog leg.
Tough break so far, as we got people wrecking back there coming out of 4, and we're going to have a caution out on the racing circuit, and it's going to be Austin Shoemaker head first into the wall off of turn number 4, and that's going to bring out another caution here. That's now the question here is, what do you do pit strategy? I think you got to stay out here if you're up front, but man, we may have some takers on pit road if they have a set of tires. We'll have to see what happens there. But Shoemaker definitely not in a good position now with that major damages. We'll go back here on the freaky fast instant replay and see exactly what happened. Here's the 14 trying to make the move on Muscarella, and I believe just loses the rear end here coming out of 4 to cross the start finish line. Yes, he does. And from there, just trying to hang on to it, catches the front end there of Shane Parrish, or Eric Stanford, and that's going to send the 14 back across the field and just head first into this wall here. And somehow it looks like most drivers getting through this incident with no damages. Looks like just Austin Shoemaker, the innocent bystander in this one.
Yeah, just another case of these cars getting loose out of turn four and through the dog leg. That limit that you're able to push these cars seems to be kind of pushed, further away from the edge, and that limit's kind of pushed closer to the more tame side of things. So, uh, these guys, as they're pushing, trying to get as many positions as they can towards the end of this race, that's one place that they're going to have to be extremely careful about. That this car seems like it's really unstable through those two sections of the track.
Yeah, and I think they're pushing it harder than you had to all night. You know, a lot of you when you know you have a certain amount of laps left, you got to push it a different way, and that could have possibly been that. I mean, shifting all many factors into how this car reacts, and I tell you, Brian, it's been a wild race here, and it's set up for a wild finish. I mean, if you're Mario Mirinda, you're kind of dreading this. I mean, he has been when it's green flag in control of this race, but when you get these caution flags, it puts doubt in your mind. It puts that little bit of chance that these drivers have to make something happen. But again, he's been lights out on the restarts. I think he knows what he needs to do. He restarts in that bottom lane, cuts that dog leg, and he's usually 2 to 3 car lengths ahead of that second car, which is usually battling for position. That's what you want to see if you're the leader, is the second and third place drivers battling when you head off into the corner.
Yeah, he's definitely been solid, on every restart, and especially once, we get a few green flag laps under us. But, with every caution that comes out, that's another restart you have to do. And, restarts have the biggest opportunity for you to make mistakes, miss a shift, go into turn one a little bit wrong, send it too far. So, as a leader, especially with Mirinda being dominant this whole race, you don't want to see these restarts just because that, that brings opportunities for mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean it's been a interesting start to the season even for him. I mean, you look back to Daytona, finishing 18th after leading 27 laps there, and you know that's a tough deal for him. There is, I think he was very much up front right there coming down to the end of that race, and actually got involved in a wreck while up front. So tough break there. Then you head off to Auto Club. You don't get your qualifying like you want there. You start back at 37th. You work your way all the way to third after a tough day. You get a third place finish. Then last week at Las Vegas, it was just a tough ordeal, finishing 35th after early into his night. So tough for Mario there, but he has brought it back here at Phoenix tonight, Brian, and he's shown he's going to be the one to beat here. All the way till this checker flag is thrown, and we'll see if anybody can have something for him, because it's been one of those nights where Mirinda has been on top of his game.
And we've seen that last run there. We've seen what the 10 is willing to do to try to make passes. He really sent it on the inside of Warren Kyle Keith there in the 42. So we know what that 10 is willing to do. What is he going to do to try to get the lead here in this run?
He's going to have to get a better restart here if he wants a chance at it. We'll see who can get it done. Is when they cross the start finish line, it's going to be 9 laps to go here. Do we get it done here in regulation? Do we see overtime? We're going to have to see here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's the MPI Cup Series, race number 4 here at Phoenix, and we're back green flag racing here at the Cactus 200 here as we go. It's 9 to go. Mirinda able to control this restart, but it's almost contact for a second. There's Bracken's got to hold it down low as there's Warren Kyle Keith and those two battling for the top 2 spots.
And that's exactly what Mirinda wants to see after one of the best restarts he's had all night long. He wants to see those two guys really battling it out behind him. The 10, Wyatt Brackett throws a block on the 54 of Brandon Banks. Brandon Banks trying to make something work to get up to third, but not going to happen as they start the cross finish line for 8 to go.
Banks thought about the move. Brackett covered it off. We're going to see who can get it. Does Brackett misses the corner, destroys the wall, and we're going to have another yellow here. That was one of the most weird, awkward wrecks I've ever seen, Brian.
Well, that's something I saw all through practice. These guys trying to get as much as they can on the entries of these corners, and the rear end of the car just slips right out from underneath them. And I think that's what happened right there.
Yeah, that right there was a big moment there for our third place driver. And, I was going back even to check out, was that a situation where he downshifted right there? No. It's just like you alluded to, Brian. You brought it up in the practice session. We were sitting here watching ourselves, and yeah, I mean, you'll see here, White Bracket just trying to get the most out of it here on entry, driving in really, really deep. You see the speed he's carrying, and once he carries that much speed, the rear is just gone. there's nothing he can do, and he's just along for the ride at that point. And man, just heavy contact, and that is just a tough break. That is one way to put it, man. Is he is just he's gonna pull it behind the wall even. So yeah, it's 9 over for Wyatt Brackett after running in the top 3 there for the majority of that final stage.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, you're sitting in third and you really, really want to get second and first, but, you kind of lose sight and you get out of touch with the fact that you already got third. Third's pretty good. But, as drivers, towards the end of the race here, we see those 2 cars in front of us, that we're just wired to do that. We want to get the next guy. We want to try to, get that one more position, and we end up doing things that cost us the position that we have. So just one of those unfortunate deals where it's just a small mistake while trying to make something happen, and really just ruins a great run.
Definitely was a tough break there, Brian, for sure. And man, Wyatt Brackett, that was just going for it. Yeah, I mean that's the one way you can put it down to, is just him going for it there, and a little mistake. And we talked about it earlier in the race. These cars have shown that one little mistake, I mean, it just goes away all in the instant. We're still learning these cars, the cues of how to catch them, when a slide is going to happen, and you know, possibly in the Gen 6 era car there, which had a lot more side force, you probably weren't having that happen most of the time. But if it did, you kind of knew it before it happened. You knew what the feeling was, what the car was doing before those situations happened. But now this car, it's all new to these drivers. They're definitely relearning it, and I think it's thrown a curveball.
Yeah, I think those old Gen 6 cars, we almost never got loose under entry. I mean, if we did, it was at places like Richmond. I mean, occasionally at Phoenix if you had too much rear brake dialed into it, but you'd almost never get loose on entry, especially from just kind of oversending it. It was almost impossible to overdrive entry on the old Cup car, but with these, as we've seen, it's definitely possible. And like you said, Zach, it's just part of those growing pains with this new car. But at the flip side of that is that that is going to lead to better racing, and just it's great to see that a car is more difficult to drive. I think that's what everybody wanted, and that's what we got.
Yeah, I think it's added a whole new aspect to the racing, and it's been fun to see how it all plays out. But before we get ready to go back green flag racing for the end of this race, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors here, Advanced Sim Racing, the fastest growing North American racing simulator chassis manufacturer and digital motorsports equipment retailer. You get on over to advancedsimracing.com, and you can use our promo code FreakyFast5 to get 5% off of any ASR branded equipment. So make sure you head on over there and check out Advanced Sim Racing, as they might have what you're looking for your sim racing needs. Is the pace car pulls in, possibly for the final time, Brian. We're going to be taking it here. It's going to be 3 to go when they cross the line. Mario Morinda up front, Warren Kyle Keith alongside. Now it's going to be Brandon Banks starting in that 3rd spot, with Austin Reedy back in 4th in our front 2 rows. It's been a fantastic race. Let's see who can pull it off here for race number 4 of the MPI Cup Series. Morinda waiting. Green is out and Morinda's away, and it's going to let Banks get a good run here. This is going to be Warren Kyle Keith all over this, and Banks straight to the 2nd spot.
Yeah, great restart by Brandon Banks. Good job on Morinda, really changing it up there, going late on the restart. As you see, kind of back behind him, 48. Muscarella gets into Austin Reedy there. A little bit of contact as they're side by side.
Austin Reedy there gets a little bit of contact from the 48, like Brian said there, and he slid up the racetrack, but he's fighting hard back on the outside as Muscarella trying to make something happen here. Cuts the dog leg out of the picture, but back into it. Here he comes with Eric Stanford, as everybody trying to find a little bit of grip as they're going to be coming out of 1 and 2 here for the penultimate time. It's Mario Morinda up front. He's opened the gap to Brandon Banks as they go down to 3 and 4. We're going to look up, and it's going to be official. It's the Freaky Fast white flag. It's 1 to go here for the Cactus 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway. Morinda off into one for the final time tonight. He's got at least a 4-car length gas. Is Banks dives it onto the apron. Big mode for him. He slides up the racetrack. That lets Warren Kalkeith get the move. Here comes Austin Reedy for third. Man, Banks from second to fourth in one lap, and it's not going to work out. Is now down into 3 and 4. Reedy covers it off, but up front, Morinda, he is going to win here tonight. First victory of the season for Mario Morinda, and it's race number 4 here at the Cactus 200 at the Phoenix Raceway. What a way.
Fantastic finish.
Took the words out of my mouth, Brian. I mean, I couldn't have said any better. Morinda, dominant performance, dominant win. And what do you know? Warren Kalkeith, last week's winner, bringing it home in second. Austin Reedy, our 2-time winner this season, bringing it home in third. Man, what a wild one it was. But goodness gracious, we're going to see what kind of celebration goes down here by the 99 of Mario Morinda. He definitely deserved it. He worked hard for this one tonight as he led really from the start of this race almost to the finish there. As you're going to see a cool celebration here by him and his teammates here. So he's going to burn it down on the front straightaway as the teammates look to burn it down with him. Looks like Reedy's going to come home third there also, Brian. So Warren Kalkeith and Reedy, great runs by them. Banks made that big move. He slid back to fourth. And as Mario Morinda celebrates here on the front straightaway here at the Phoenix Raceway, we're going to head to a quick break here while we get our top 3 up here to have a quick chat about tonight's Cactus 200 here from the Phoenix Raceway at MPI Cup Series. All right, we're back here, everybody, for the Cactus 200 here at the Phoenix Raceway for the MPI Cup Series. What a 200 laps we just had here tonight. It was a wild one, nonetheless, to say. But we're going to get a chat here with our top 3 drivers here tonight. First one up is our third place man, Austin Reedy in that 96. Our points leader coming into tonight I gotta say this was probably his tougher night. So let's hear from this 96 machine on what he had to endure. Hey, Austin, it's Zach and Brian up here in the booth, man. You got a copy.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Austin, man, a tough fought battle here tonight, man. Probably the toughest race you had to endure this season so far. But, man, able to still bring home a top 3 finish there when possibly top 3 was not on the line here tonight.
Yeah, we had a lot of self-inflicted damage tonight, and got super lucky with that lap 80 or 81 caution to where we took tires the previous caution, fixed the rest of our damage, and cycled out second or third, and just stayed there for the rest of the race.
Hey, Austin, it's Brian. So, we talked a little bit about the weather here today and how hot the track temperature was, and when the clouds kind of covered the sun, the track temp really took a big swing. We saw anywhere between 123 degrees and 98 degrees. So, just from your perspective and how your car was handling, when the sun was out and when it was behind the clouds, was there a noticeable difference in the car with how it handled?
I didn't notice much. I mean, I could definitely notice the difference between the beginning of the race and the end. I saw on the leaderboard that I think the top 10 all ran their fastest laps with 2 laps to go or whatever. That might just be everybody pushing, but even with my damage, I was still able to push it that much harder with these cooler temps. I think we ended around 93 or 94 degrees. So I didn't really notice it with the sun being an issue. I think it was just as the day went on, track cooled down a little bit. I think guys were able to push it just a little bit more.
Well, definitely, man. I tell you what, another great finish for you as the points leader coming in here tonight. Head off to Atlanta, man. Definitely interesting racetrack, but comparable, I would say, even the Auto Club with the how old the surface is.
Yeah, that's one I look forward to. These short tracks always get the best of me. But the mile and a half is really where I feel like I'm at my best. So I'm excited to head there next week and see what we can do.
Well, we're excited to see what you can do there, man. Also, it's been fun to watch you battle through these first 4 weeks, Austin. Before we let you get out of here, though, and get prepared for next week in Atlanta, anybody want to send a shout to, my man?
Yeah, More Than a Cape and TJ's team. And then Teamer Designs for the paint. Wyatt Brackett down at Fast Banana Racing. Always a pleasure racing with him. I hate that what happened to him happened. He's going to get a good finish here, and I can feel that win coming for him.
Well, that was Austin Reedy, everybody there tonight for the 3rd position. Also, you have a great night, and we'll catch you in Atlanta next week.
All right, see you, boys.
All right, everybody. Like I said, that was Austin Reedy there, your 3rd place driver. We're going to move on up to 2nd place. Last week's winner, Warren Kyle Keith in that 42 machine. I mean, what a drive it was for him once again. It's 3 weeks in a row now, Auto Club, Las Vegas, Phoenix, where he has been one of those top drivers. Let's hear what his thoughts are after getting 2nd here tonight at Phoenix. Hey, Warren, it's Zach and Brian up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
I sure do.
Well, Warren, I tell you what, another great performance from you, man. It's been, really 4 great weeks. I mean, Daytona, unfortunate didn't finish the way you wanted to, but man, you got to say, coming through these first 4 races, the 42 has looked pretty darn good, and even tonight, fighting through some damage.
Yeah, we picked up a little damage on the right side. Got a little greedy one of the restarts, and tried to not make it 4 wide. Unfortunately, got doored, but yeah, we had a good run tonight. The TOW 42. Tried to make something work on that last restart, but I don't know. My end, it looked like it slowed down a bit, but is what it is. P2 will take it, but definitely like to keep this momentum up as we head to Atlanta next week.
Hey, Warren, it's Brian. Speaking of that momentum, I was just going to ask you a little bit about Atlanta. You won at Las Vegas, and Atlanta is a similar track, although it does have, it's got less grip, a bit more of a difficult track. But how are you feeling about your chances of keeping this momentum going over there at Atlanta?
Pretty good. If we can just have some speed on the short run, some of these guys at these mile and a half seem not to get loose at all, which is kind of funny. But all of us the rest of us do. So we're just going to try to find out how to not get loose like some of these guys do, and try to make short run speed work. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just go ahead and do what we did last time at a mile and a half, and just make the long run speed work.
Definitely had the long run speed for sure at the mile and a half, man. We'll have to see what you can bring to Atlanta next week. But Warren, before we let you get out of here and get prepared for Atlanta, anybody want to send a shout to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Alex. for having TOW week after week again. Another good finish for us. And all the guys over at TOW, Steven had a good run. Charles had a good run. Travis also had a pretty decent run till he got doored. Then all the guys at SKM. So other than that, no, just go to Atlanta next week and, the long season, hopefully just keep it up. Keep doing what we're doing.
Well, Warren, congrats. Like I said, again on second, man. We'll catch you in Atlanta next week, and you have a great night.
You too, guys. Thank you.
All right, everybody. That was your second place finisher there of Warren Kyle Keith, your winner from last week at Las Vegas. Gets second here at Phoenix, but it's the driver who had the most wins in season 4. It's his first victory here of season number 5. It's Mario Miranda in the 99 machine. What a drive it was for him. Dominant performance starting from second, winning stage 1 and getting that race victory. Let's hear from the 99 of Mario Miranda. Hey, Mario, it's Zach and Brian up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, a dominant performance, Mario. I mean, what a way to get your first victory of the season. And, this is something, doing a little study myself, looking at the stats from last season, it seemed like you were really strong at the short tracks and those road courses. And it seemed to carry over into this next-gen car, man. I mean, how did you get this thing so figured out? And it just seemed like you had the short run, the long run pace to go with it. I mean, you had everything tonight.
I mean, I just feel so good to be back. The long run was actually pretty easy. You just had to really take the first 10, 20 laps super easy, which could kind of be hard every once in a while, especially when you have someone like Wyatt Bracken and Warren, pressuring you like that towards later of the race. But just gotta keep your head calm. I was telling myself it's really hard to pass here. Track position is everything, so I could take it as easy as I could, and then probably not gonna be making a move on me. So, and then the short run, I just send it. I set the brake bias super aggressive, and just go out there and just do my best.
Hey Mario, it's Brian. So we've seen in stage 2, we had a caution come out, and you and most everybody else up front decided to come down pit road, and you come out and you're 19th, kind of way back in the back of the field. When that happened, were there any worries of, man, am I going to be able to get some stage points in the stage, or am I going to be kind of caught up in anything? Just kind of talk us through that moment right there when you got shuffled back to 19th.
Yeah, I definitely thought a lot more drivers would have pit. I came out and I was like, dang, I lost to Zach Wilson on pit exit. I thought I was gonna be, behind him. And then I come out and, I'm P19. And honestly, I was just really worried, like what you said, the stage points. I thought I just kind of threw away a stage win there. And also, I thought I was gonna get in a wreck, 'cause cautions breed cautions, and it's towards the end of the stage and everyone's trying to gain as much position as they can. And I just I follow Zach Wilson. I know he's a super clean driver. I followed behind him, made my way through the field with him. He made a mistake. I got past him. The caution ended up happening behind me, and I looked up and I'm P9. Another caution. I was, P3 by the end of the stage. So I was really happy coming back from that.
Yeah, definitely a good comeback indeed. And, it was an interesting night, paying attention to all the different drivers out there, Mario, with how you guys were driving it differently, in the shifting. That's kind of where I want to get aspect to, talk to you about. We didn't talk to the other guys about it, but, what was your plan going on with shifting here tonight? We've seen some guys not even elect to do it. Some guys really utilizing to do it.
Shifting was, I knew I was going to be doing that for sure. As they always say, road course racing always helps with short track racing. Wanted to do with brakes, but now with the next gen shifting, and I'm really confident with my shifting abilities. You only shift once for me. It was after the dogleg going up in the 5th gear and then shifting back down the 4 for 1 and 2. And a lot of guys felt like it was unnecessary. They felt like they could get the same run out of the corner in 5th gear. I didn't think so. I wanted 4th, and it helped save my right front a little because I could put more torque in my right rear and wear that more often than I could my right front.
Well, definitely some good info there, man. It definitely was fun to watch you guys battle all night long, and definitely a dominant performance for you getting that first victory here at season 5, and it's definitely got to feel good. But heading off to Atlanta next week, it's going to be fun to see. But before we let you get out of here and go get prepared for Atlanta, Mario, anybody you want to send a shout out to for this race victory here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Burnt Rubber Media, Burnt Rubber Motorsports. Those guys, bringing me back, believing in me. I've been through thick and thin with those guys, and they've always kept my head cool, and I forever can be thankful for them. Also, shout out to Bruzy Racewear and OU Esports out there. Those guys, brought me on this season, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for both of us.
Well, Mario, congrats. Like I said, again on the race win, man. First one of many to come this season, but we'll let you go get prepared for Atlanta. Congrats, and you have a great night, man.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner, Mario Miranda, here at the Cactus 300 here at the MPI Cup Series. I mean, what a way to get that first victory of the season. I looking at the stats, looking at all the stuff coming into this race, it really pointed to this 99 to be one of the big factors. And, it definitely proved to be. I mean, he was from start to finish there from that third starting spot, just lights out. So we'll be looking to pull our race results up here and see where your favorite drivers finished out the night here for the Cactus 200 at the Phoenix Raceway. It was 200 laps of grueling action. As we see now our race results, it's Mario Miranda, like I said, getting that first victory of the season. Second is going to go to Warren Kalkeith after a victory last week at Las Vegas. Then you'll have Austin Reedy, our two-time winner this season, to start off the season in third. Fourth's going to go to Brandon Banks after that wild moment trying to make a move down into 1 and 2 on the final lap that has a chance at Miranda. He'll slide back to fourth. Fifth's going to go to Muscarella after a wild night. Sixth is going to be Steven Stimkin. Seventh, Parker Bland. Eighth's going to go to Eric Stanford. Ninth is Joseph Mahar. Rounding out that freaky fast top 10 is Isaac Mock. As we look through the rest of this running order and this finishing order here, definitely some tough nights for a few drivers, and the farther I believe you go down that list, the tougher it gets for a few. Wyatt Brackett stands out to me, Brian, there in 22nd, and Zach Wilson, especially back there in 36. So definitely some tough races for some guys out there as Phoenix claimed a few.
Yeah, those two guys, in addition to looking at guys like Richard Swavely right there, finished 23rd. He came into this race 10th in points, so that's going to be a bit of a hit to him. And again, I think the biggest one tonight is Zach Wilson. Had a great run going for him, and unfortunately just kind of got caught up in some stuff and is going to finish 36th. So Phoenix, very, very kind to some people, and for other people, it's a place they're not going to be wanting to come back to anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the thing they got to have in the back of their mind, Brian, is this is the track they come back to fight for a championship. So definitely November 6th, they could be remembering this very race itself, saying, I learned a little something from that race that carries into that race. But again, these cars change so much through time. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But man, what a fun time we had here tonight at the MPI Cup Series. Before we head out here and get our final salute to you fans out there, Brian, any final thoughts from you up here in the booth tonight? Because, man, the Cactus 200, it was all over the place. And Miranda with the win, I mean, you got to be looking for him, especially with Coda around the corner there in 2 weeks, looking for a big couple weeks on his schedule.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, based off of his stats from last season and the performance that he put on tonight, I think he's definitely going to be the number one contender going to these short tracks and the road courses, especially. He was talking about it and we were talking about it, but tonight's performance really speaks to it. And Phoenix is a great track, very different from anywhere else that we go to. So wide, really gives. A good sense of the racing going on, and then again, these next gen cars, first short track that we've taken them to, and they present different challenges that we haven't seen in several years. These guys getting loose on entry, getting loose on exit, having to shift, so many different things going on with this new car. Combine that with Phoenix, and you get the race that we got here tonight.
It was definitely a good one indeed. The Cactus 200 definitely lived up to the hype for sure of this car, this season, this league, because it's been a wonderful start for sure for the first 4 races. And we'll be heading to Atlanta next week. But let's see our upcoming schedule here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as we had Phoenix Raceway here tonight. And tomorrow night here live on Freaky Fast, we're going to have the NAISCC Truck Series there at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Wednesday night, we're going to have the Underdog Racing League at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Then on Thursday night, to close out our week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, will be at Talladega. at Super Speedway for the Stars and Stripes Racing on Thursday night. So make sure if you enjoyed tonight and you want to tune in for some more great racing action, tune in on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. We got action throughout the week here at Freaky Fast, but we can't wait to get back here next week for round number 5 here at Atlanta. It's going to be fun to watch these drivers taking the next gen track to that old surface there in Atlanta and taking to see who can get that victory. I mean, we've seen some big changes and swings up through the ends of the season, so we're going to have to see who can really close the deal there. Maybe it'll be somebody who's already done it. Maybe it'll be somebody new. We'll have to find out. But thank you all for tuning in tonight here at Freaky Fast Broadcast. It was a pleasure to call all your action. I'm Zach Hall. Alongside me calling all the action was Brian Johnson. We had Robert Moore Jr. up in the production box. Thank you to you two for being such a great help. We thank you all for tuning in. And God bless you all. Peace out. We love you all.